that's enough of that. Evening everyone, it is Mike here, Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and a little bit of an impromptu live stream forced my hand by one of our Discord members. I'm not going to go into too much depth, but I said I was going to do it, so I am generally a man of my word, so going to do a quick build, well, hopefully it's going to be quick, in the IONZ KZ21 case, which we reviewed ages ago, which if you're watching this as a replay, we'll try and put a link up here somewhere so you can check it out for yourselves. It was a pretty good case actually. I really did like the review of that. It ticks a lot of boxes for me. I love the side panel which flips open, which hopefully you can see. So yeah, nice slightly tinted side panel. We like that a lot. Plenty of room in there. Pretty decent price, around about 40 quid, which I think for a ATX case is pretty decent. Looks pretty nice up front. Plenty of filtration, all that kind of usual jazz. A little bit of room in the top there for a radiator, which we will be putting in. We are going to be using the Ryzen 3400G. I don't know why we're putting in this, but there's kind of reasons behind it. Essentially, the only motherboard I've got actually at the moment, which officially works with that chip, is this one, which is the MSI B450-A-Pro-MAX, which yeah, you're probably all sick of the sight of by now. So yeah, you're going to get even sicker because I'm going to stick it inside of here. So, quick run through the parts. So obviously case, IONZ KZ21, motherboard is B450-A-Pro-MAX, as we said. Processor is the Ryzen 3400G, which is hiding up there somewhere. RAM wise, we're going with, yeah, tried and tested. We are going for RGB overkill, so you can't get much more RGB overkill than the V-Color RAM kit, so we're going with that. Fan wise, we got these, which I've had these around for so long, but I've never actually found a case where I could use them in efficiently. So we've got the Sharkoon, the RGB shark lights, which we've got 3 of those going in. So what we're going to be aiming for is the radiator, 240mm radiator up in front. So 2 fans up there pulling air in, and the 3 fans are going to be used to exhaust through the top and also the rear of the case. Now to control all that, we probably could get away with using the motherboard headers, but for simplicity and to tie the RGB together, because there's no RGB header on this thing, going with the Gamemax basically RGB and Fan Hub. So be using that to yeah, try and tie it all together nicely. Hard drive wise, we've got the Intenso 450, the Intenso 512GB drive. Technically it's 480, but it's just the way they report the sizes. We're going to possibly be throwing in the Toshiba 2TB drive as well, just to see what the drive mechanism is like at the bottom. Also, we're going to be using the Cylon 500W power supply from Aerocool. I'm not entirely sure if the leads are actually going to reach for the top, so we might end up changing that out. Although, the only other power supply I've actually got on hand to swap it out with is, if I can actually even find it, it's down here somewhere. Talk amongst yourselves. We've got this one. So that is the Cylon 700W, which I'm not entirely sure if the leads are actually any longer on that at all. I can't remember. I should know, I did review it, but yeah, it'll be one of the two. Failing that, we've got some cable extensions knocking around here somewhere, so we may end up using those. Cooler, obviously, is going to be the XPG 240mm. This is their Levante 240 XPG. We did a review on this. I've never actually put it in anything else since then. I've never actually found anything what I really wanted to put it in. I was going to put it in my main PC, but I don't know. I bottled it.
Using up bits?
Am I using up bits? Kind of. I was looking around to see what I had on hand, which basically had a ton of RGB, because this case comes with exactly bugger all. None, zero, nada, nothing. So it's a pretty kind of boring design. Now, if you like your non-RGB or you want the stealth look, yeah, totally fine. But when you're actually doing a build for video, not having any lighting or anything like that is it's pretty difficult to manage and actually to try and make a case look good. As we've known for the last 5 years or so, pretty much every single YouTube video has got RGB in it. It's a thing, so why break that tradition? And as you can probably tell, I do love my RGB. So that, I think, is all of the parts introduced. That seemed to go a little quicker than I thought it would be. So let's say a quick hello to those of you in the chat, as is customary on the channel. If you're new here, this is this is Mike's Unboxing, so please do click on the subscribe button and all those other kind of things. And what's that, Kath?
To say, explain why you're so far.
Oh yeah, the distance on the camera is probably looking a little bit wider, and I'm a lot further away from the camera than normal.
But you're not, you've been on that exercise bike.
Yeah, it's actually just the exercise bike. Trim me down a bit, I wish. What we've done is put another table on the end of our existing table setup and moved it all back, so basically you've got a lot more room. So normally the table would end kind of here and you would never see anything past there. So now we've got a slightly wider shot. If I move that out of the way, you can see there's a lot of extra width there, so it's dead handy. So when I'm putting this together, I've got a little bit of room to work with, all that kind of usual stuff. And now I've given you a shot of the front. Let's have a little bit of reflection.
It's only a temporary setup.
Let's see if we can get Kath in there.
No.
She loves that.
It's only a temporary setup.
So now I can have the case to one side, don't have to worry about putting it to one side, anything. I can just get on, do the motherboard build, etc. I've got the overhead camera going as well, which I believe is on camera number 4. Yes, it is. So you should be able to see what my stubby little digits are up to. And hopefully it's going to focus okay. Yeah, looks okay. Lighting looks to be pretty much on point. And yeah, so you can see things, although technically you're going to see them kind of upside down because I haven't turned them around yet. But anyway, you guys get the general idea. So, oh, wrong button. I always do that.
Bennett watching with his 4-year-old, so watch your language.
Okay. Yeah, there won't be any alcohol or, well, hopefully there won't be any curse words. There's potential. Screwdrivers are involved and computers, so the potential is definitely there. So let's say a quick hello to those of you that have been in the chat from the early, actually very early. So we've got Ghost Adder, who's dabbed at first. We've got Dom's with us, Dave Burns. Hi Dave, how you doing? Outlaw Fett's with us. Ketoid says, oh, how many uploads? Yeah, I think we've done, is there 3 videos today?
Yeah.
What was the first one?
The speakers.
Oh yeah, we had the Logitech speakers to start with, the Z533 or Z533. So thank you, Dave Aitken, for those. Then we had the debloat the MSI Dragon sensor, which for some of us is going to be pretty necessary, and of course the live stream. So yeah, you guys are spoiled today. It's not as if I'm trying to get my YouTube stats up or anything. Astro Inferno says, please give thermals on this case. I'm not too sure how in-depth we'll be going with testing. That is a limitation of our setup, is actually getting the PC up and running and doing all that. What I might end up doing is, if we can't work out something after the stream's finished, then I'll do some recordings and then I'll probably do an update video on it just to give you an idea of thermals and that. But realistically, that case is going to do absolutely fine. There's plenty of ventilation in there. The chip that we're using is a low-powered one anyway. But even with a high-powered chip in there, there's plenty of options for cooling in that case, which is one of the reasons why I was really pleased when IONZ sent it to me for review purposes. Shame I can't keep hold of them all forever. Need a bigger studio. Paul Bakewell's with us, says hello all. Dave Burns said yo. Dom says hi. Matthew Day says I've never been this early. Wish I could say the same, I'm generally late for most things. Matthew Bennett says, even all going for a bath, then chill watching stream. Awesome. Craig Lyle says, I wonder if anyone will wait till he's doing something like screwing the M.2 drive and do a super chat. Well, I kind of hope so, but I kind of hope not as well at the same time. That one is a little bit of a double-edged sword. Matthew Day says, remember the Verge, always screw with confidence. Oh yes. Marco says, looking forward to some quality time. Good. Matthew says the 3400G is getting a 240 AIO. That should let it overclock to within an inch of its life. Yes, I think that is likely. Pierre Plays is with us as well. And Jordy95. Who's we got? Daz Oboe Shape says good afternoon. After binging on last year's vids to build my own PC, it's time to get caught up again and build one for the sun. Awesome. Daz. Oh, Daz, yes, Daz. I remember Daz from the after stream chat on Saturday. Good to see you back in. Who else have we got? Ghost Adder, Calf saying, Ricardo's with us, says hi everyone. Jonas as well. Jonas says, is the music like double for you guys too? Ah, yes, I know why that is, because I didn't have my speakers muted on the laptop, so it was picking up the desktop audio as well. Rookie mistake, I've only been doing this for 4 years, so...
Lucky you haven't got a tech channel.
Yeah, if I had a tech channel, it would be dangerous, it really would. Roy Elleray says, bonsoir. Bonsoir to you, my friend. Markovsky says, 3400G is ace. Harry McFarlane says, I love a good Mike's unboxing build live. I do as well, because it saves an absolute shit ton of, lots of editing. Jay Rich says, hi Mike and Kath. Kath says hi. And Mark Barry as well, hi everyone. Lots of boxes, yeah, there is a lot of boxes. So Fred Brown's with us, I liked. Big Balls Bev, good afternoon guys. And who else we've got? I think that's pretty much it. Antonio says, there's some questions. If there's any questions that are not related directly to what we're doing, excuse me, I'll try and answer those a little bit later, or save them for Saturday's stream, or of course over on the Discord. You're more than welcome to ask your questions over there. I've got a little bit of a frog in my throat today, so I will be occasionally slurping, so do excuse me. The show must go on, as they say. Pablo says hi. Lee Matthews says hi Mike. How you doing, Lee? Matthew Bennett, yep, said that. Kath Churchill says, we missed you, Dave Burns. Yes, we have, Dave.
And we don't know what happened Saturday in that
Discord thing. Yeah, that was a bit bizarre, wasn't it? ClickTech Kev says, evening, is it Saturday already? Yippee! No, it's not. I wish it was. Although these days it doesn't really make any difference, does it? Every day is basically Groundhog Day currently. Cosmic Space Muffins with us says hello. Marbury says that's a cool looking case. Yeah, it is. Right, that'll do. I think I've said hello to everyone. Allosaurus87, I bought a Windows 10 Pro license from Amazon, but when I checked the type, I noticed that it is a volume type license. Is that okay? Not really. I would try and return it if you can. Or you can save yourself some money, go to premiumcdkeys.com, use the discount code MUB or Mike's Unboxing, and you probably end up getting it for less than £5 pretty easily. So let's get on with the build. Now, where shall I start? I've not really thought this through at all, to be completely honest with you. So I'm going to make a little bit of room now, move some of this stuff out of the way. So the cooler we don't need quite yet. The fans we'll put in when we do the case assembly, so they can go over there. Hard drive, we're not going to be ready for that for a while. SSD, that is going to be one we're going to be pretty much ready for. Fan controller, that's going to be kind of fan time. Power supply, that is kind of that kind of area. RAM, motherboard, storage, internal, and the CPU. I'll leave the CPU over there in case I drop it, and Kath has to unbend all the pins. So, as discussed earlier, we've got the MSI B450-A-Pro-MAX edition. So this is the kind of upgraded version of some of the MSI boards. So it takes the 3000 series and potentially the 5000 series. I think I actually did a BIOS flash on this. Actually, Kath.
Yeah. Chewing gum.
So motherboard wise, yeah, no surprises here. This was bought as a kind of like a used bargain off Amazon, I think. So, a bit of a dry mouth. I'm gonna have a chewing gum. So, what do we need in there? I don't think we need a great deal. SATA cables, possibly. We'll take one of those out just in case. M.2 screws, I think they are possibly already in the board, if I recall. No. M.2, no screws. So let's see if there is a screw in the box. Otherwise, I am knackered already. Oh, that was a good start. No, it's definitely not in there. That sucks. Okay, so I'm gonna have to grab another motherboard and steal the screw from that. Sometimes drives do come with screws, but in this particular instance, I don't think it does. I think that's the reason being because a lot of the drives tend to be slightly different sizes. So no, nothing in there. So let's find another motherboard box somewhere. What else have we got?
Are used motherboards any good?
Sometimes, as long as they come with the bits. Kath,
yeah.
Can you grab that motherboard from the other side for me, please? Rookie mistakes here going on left, right, and centre, as expected. Chewing gum still exists. It does.
Aspartame free.
It is aspartame free. So we're going to borrow some bits out of the B450M, which I think come with some spare screws. Yeah, somewhere, I hope. Hallelujah! Pack of 3. Just what we wanted. So we will temporarily borrow those. And these are the tiny little M.2 screws which screw the drive into here. I don't really want to open that because I'm going to end up losing one at least. Let's get one. Come on, out you come. As most of you are probably aware already, we are very much rookies here, so things can and do go wrong. So, just make sure that's the right back plate. Yeah, that looks right. Let's make sure I didn't take the one out of the other board. Actually, did I take the one out of the other board? No, that's still in there. Good times.
You need a mag tray.
I do need. I've got a magnet stuff there, but it's full of crap, rubbish. So let's see if we can zoom this out a bit. Yeah.
Do you want it?
No. So M.2 goes in this little bad boy here. So let's take that out of there. Fingers first. This edge into this bit, and you put it in on a sort of upward angle.
I don't like it being brown.
It is a brown board. Luckily, the case has got quite a lot of kind of tinting on the sides, so should be okay with that. Is that going to hold? There we go. Don't fall off. Now with those, you don't need them to be overly tight, just as long as it holds it in place and it's not wiggling. So tiny little bit of tension on there. So that's absolutely fine. So yeah, that's the drive in. Happy days. And next we're going to put the CPU in. So we've got our Ryzen 5 Pro 3400G. So this is the Pro edition, which basically means absolutely diddly squat. There's a few extra instructions on there for security, which works with certain motherboards, but yeah, it's not really a massive difference. Clock speeds and all that kind of stuff, still exactly the same. So processor wise, put the processor in, so the writing on the socket there where it says socket M4, make sure the writing matches up. If not, there is a little lug or gold tag on the corner which matches up over there. I don't know why I always do this, but I always put a little bit of pressure on the processor when I'm putting the retention arm down, just to make sure that it's fully down. I don't know why, you don't really need to. It probably is a bad thing, but I've always done it, so it's not changed the habit of a lifetime right now. So effectively that is pretty much it for our storage and also the processor. So now we're going to stick in some colour. Nice to see a bit of colour on the screen. So this is the V-Color Prism Pro. So we've got the non-DRAM kit, which is this one, and we've got the DRAM kit, which is this one. So this is actually DDR4, I think this is 3600. Yep, DDR4 3600. So there is a really strong chance that this actually won't work with this particular setup. I may have to downclock it to maybe 3200 or something, but we'll see. Sometimes you can get lucky with a motherboard and that particular chip, and you can get it running a lot higher, but it really is more down to luck than any form of judgment. So open up all of the retention arms. I did watch a rather funny video last night from a certain Mr. Holzman, some of you may know, and he was having a real moan about MSI motherboards. And I was listening to it and I was trying to work out whether or not he was having some kind of breakdown or not. It certainly seemed like it. So his complaint was that on the motherboard he was using, these arms, which hold stuff in, were actually kind of only opening on the bottom section. So the graphics card would possibly be in the way a little bit. They weren't on his particular board, but he just seemed to moan about it anyway. Hey ho. So yeah, these are the DRAM versions. I'll put those in there. And stick that one in there. You can probably hear my daughter in the background. She just come home from work, so apologies for that.
She accidentally came in.
So now we've got the non-DRAM versions. Now you can see with this, hopefully, if it ever focuses, that there's a lot of the actual gold pins are missing. And that's because it's only supporting the RGB aspect of it rather than the actual kind of RAM chips themselves. So again, they look very similar. Make sure that that's the right one. Yep, those are open. Should have done this the other way around actually, so I can actually see what the heck I'm doing. So snap them into place. Don't snap the RAM. That's generally deemed as a bad thing. And there we go. And another quick press. Sometimes I give them a little wiggle just to make sure they're seated correctly. A little bit of pressure on there. But yeah, we're good. We're all good. So pretty straightforward so far. So processor, storage, random access memory. And now we can put that to one side. And we can actually get on now and prep the case a little bit. Let's put that on there, slide that across. And next up we've got the case.
No gaps, no tilts.
No gaps, no tilts, no, exactly. So this, for those of you that don't know already, is the IONZ KZ21, also known as the brand there, which is Segatep. Very much like Imatep. Those of you that know what I mean there will know what I mean. The front panel is pretty cool because that just snaps off and it's solid metal, so that's pretty nice. Put that to one side. And behind that, then we've got this nice mesh, nylon mesh. So airflow is going to be excellent. Loads of gaps all around the outside edges to pull air into there. I was umming and ahhing about putting some fans in the front, normal fans, and then putting the AIO in the top section. But the fans that I'm using are the Shark lights, which actually only mount one way round. So that kind of limited it. And actually, I can honestly say, in all the years of building a PC for myself, I've never actually mounted a radiator up front. To me, it always seems kind of like a weird thing, like you're actually trying to pull hot air into the system, which is, I would normally see as being like a bit of a bad idea. So anyway, put that to one side for now. So you can now see.
Put it somewhere else because you always scare me crashing into it.
That is why you should never listen to your spouses, people. So, looking at the case inside, tons and tons of room. And actually with this front section removed, you've got loads and loads of access. We've got the removable filter on the front, on the top rather. We'll get rid of that as well. So yeah, loads and loads of room. Got all of our instructions and all that kind of stuff. If I can get it out without giving myself some kind of injury. So yeah, basically goes through, tells you how to put it all together, but we won't be using that. Why would we want to do that? So I suppose we should start off with putting some extra motherboard pillars in. So as you can possibly see, I'm not sure if you can or not. Currently we've only got 6 pillars in, and this particular board I believe needs 9. So let's grab some more pillars out of the little baggie here. And luckily they are brass ones, so they're easy to see if you are slightly limited visually, like myself. And you can put those in by hand if you want to, but you can, if you want, use one of those spanners, which actually I think I've got here somewhere. Yes, I have. So handy little box wrench. These are really good, but just don't go too crazy on them, especially on slightly more budget orientated cases, because you can strip the actual threads that hold these in, and then yeah, it's just generally not good. So we've got another one there. And another one at the top, I believe. It's been a while since I've built it with one of these boards. Yeah, straight line all the way down it. Good-o. Always make sure that these are in the right place. The amount of people we see on our Discord on almost a daily basis where they've built a PC somehow and managed to like not use hardly any standoffs. And in some cases, none at all. Just literally bolted the board straight to the back, which actually takes some quite hard work to do that. There's a reason why they're spaced off, and that's to stop any electrical shorts in, because if the motherboard, which if you look at the back of it, pick it up by the RAM, that's not a bad thing. If you look at the back of it, you've got all this circuitry going on. Also, you've got the AM4 backplate as well, which that's going to stand off a bit as well. So if you are bolting your motherboard directly to the back of a case, then you're going to cause all kinds of flexing and yeah, just basically bad times. So yeah, don't do it. It's not a great idea. So let's put the motherboard in, so I can probably use the other camera for that. So we'll make a little bit of room here. Put the case down. You never know, the camera might even focus at some point. That would be a nice thing. I have to stand up. Hang on now. Right, focus there. Okay, maybe don't. Maybe just be blurry. Let's zoom back out a bit. Is that focusing now? Yep, there we go. I really need to get myself some new cameras. Right, so we've got the backplate, or the IO backplate, so stick that in first of all, making sure that you've got it around the right way. So this one's got a BOS flashback button, so that's in that bottom corner. Got the motherboard, got the keyboard connections and all that kind of stuff. So just stick that in there. Push it through, make sure it's all fully pushed through. A couple of little extra pushes just to make sure that it's actually in place, and yeah, that's it, pretty much done. So now we can put the motherboard in. Now if you're not using an AIO, then at this point it's probably a good idea to put your cooler onto the board before you actually put it inside, just so you've got a little bit more access, that kind of stuff. So line up the holes. Some boards you'll find, or some cases rather, you'll find that some of the standoffs are actually like little nubs, so they line the board up. Unfortunately, this particular one doesn't. And also something else you could possibly do before you put your motherboard in, unlike I've just done, is to grab one of the pillars and a couple of screws and just try and put them in so you can see which type of screw you need, whether it's the ones with the thin or fine thread or the ones with the coarser thread. That seems fine with the coarser thread, so I'll try one with the thicker thread just to make sure, see if it actually threads, and no, it stops threading kind of very low on. So yeah, we'll be using the finer headed screws for this, so we're going to need 9 of them from our little section over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. There's like Sesame Street. And grab yourself a magnetic screwdriver. Oh, don't you just hate that when your ear pops? You get that ringing in your ears? Or was it just me? Or they just turned on the 7G? I think I can say that, that's fine. Oh. So with the screws, my suggestion is, if possible, put them all in, but don't fully tighten them all. Just put a couple in, just so that the board will kind of naturally start lining itself up. And if for some reason they don't actually start by themselves, if you anti-clockwise screw, so normally you would go righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So if it doesn't fit in straight away, just keep on going to the left and you'll feel, where is it? Yeah, you feel a little bump and you may have just picked up that slightly audible click. So that means it's gone into the thread, so you can then screw it up a little bit. Don't screw it up as in break it, but screw it up as in making sure that it's all in. Already I am disgusted by the colour of this motherboard, and I know that is one of those kind of stupid first world things that stupid ass YouTubers say all the time, but well, yeah, I'm a stupid ass YouTuber for all intents and purposes right now.
Put your sunglasses over it.
Yeah, if I had my sunglasses I think it would be considerably worse because I wouldn't be able to see actually what I'm doing, which is very much like what I'm doing now. So I can hardly see this. See if my
Dragon's yellow glasses.
yeah,
Make it black.
put my night vision glasses on, that'd be good. So make sure the motherboard is in. So we've got all the screws in. So now we can go ahead and tighten them down. If you tighten them all down until the screwdriver naturally stops, then give it a very slight little twist. That should be more than enough. You don't want to do too much, so you actually thread them or damage the board, all that kind of stuff. What fun this is. Possibly not so much for you guys, but hey, I'm enjoying myself. Although I can't see a damn thing. The lighting in here, despite the fact we've got two studio lights, both of them are kind of in really crap places, which was fine when we started doing this, just doing the unboxings, because it was okay. But I could really do with some overhead lights, which, stupidly, I have actually got an overhead light, which I could attach to the camera, which, there we go. That's blown it right out. So I can see what is going on here. Okay, so I think that is all of them. No particular order to those, you can do them pretty much however you want to. You can already see actually there is quite a big gap in this top section, so we could put a radiator in there really easily. There's a pretty decent offset as well, so if I raise that up a little bit, you can see the offset on the top there. Plenty of room for a 240. 280 might be a bit more of a struggle, but potentially doable. There's a relatively good amount of room there, as you can see. So yeah, in terms of flexibility, this case does offer a lot. My only thing is, I wish they offered a mesh fronted version. I think if they did a mesh fronted version, this thing would sell like wild, absolutely crazy. But yeah.
Cries from knocked your top down cooler.
It does. It's crying out for something. Let's turn that off. At this point, if you wanted to, you could put some SSDs in these locations here and here. Pretty easy to get to as well. That would be quite nice. And you've got the wiring there, so you could pass the wires through nice and easily. I think that is. I think that's about the best we can do currently.
240 mount to the front.
I'm a little bit concerned about that actually. I was just looking at these connections up here to see if they actually need poking in a little bit, whether or not it might be a little bit on the tight side. That is the beauty of me doing this rather than you guys doing it, because I can make mistakes, and if it goes wrong, well, it's not the end of the world. So well, let me think, what should we do now? There's no real right or wrong way of building a PC. It's basically just doing it however you want to. You may find sometimes you go over the same areas once or twice, but I think really that's all part of the fun of it. So let's turn the case over, and we'll also put the power supply in while we're in this section, and we'll take a look at some of the wiring options. Thanks.
That's not good for you.
It's not over slurp of tea. So we've got our main IO section here. So terminating in a USB 3.0 connection. And you've got the normal suspects there. So you've got HD audio, got our USB 2.0, and then we've got a bunch of front IO, which are all nicely labelled up. So power switch, power LED plus and minus, reset switch, and hard drive LED. Can you hear that? That is the sound of, I don't know sure it is actually. I think it's Little Mermaid. So I've been told. So we'll put that to one side for now. Let's stick the SATA drive in while we're in this neck of the woods, if I can remember where I actually put it. There we go. So we've got our Toshiba 2TB drive, and this is the caddy. So I don't know if we need screws. It's kind of like, it looks like a quick release, so we should be okay. So I'll just stick that in. It's that way round. Oh, that was easy. So yeah, that is in. If you want to, there are screws actually on the bottom there, screw holes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you wanted to, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, you could put some screws in there just to hold it a little bit tighter in that mechanism. But I think that's actually okay. There's also screws in the side as well. So actually I'll just put one in there just to hold it in place. And hopefully that doesn't interfere with anything else going on in here. So that's the drive in, really nice and easy to do. So, and it's even marked up on there. SATA and data, SATA power, data. How nice is that? So we've got plenty of room in this area here for the power supply. So let's just grab our power supply. Power supply is the Aerocool Cylon 500 watt, as we said, with active PFC, which for those of you that don't know, that is active power factor correction. So essentially it just keeps an eye on the ripples and the voltages and all that kind of stuff, and evens it all out to give it a nice smooth and clean power delivery. Although for £26 I don't think it's going to be that clean or that powerful a delivery, but the sentiment is there. Did I get all the names for all the tunes? I don't think we did. I think we come very, very close. There might have been the odd one or two. For those of you not sure what I'm talking about, when we did the review of that wireless doorbell, we did actually ask for your guys' help actually to name some of the tunes, which basically I had no idea what they were. So with this power supply, we can mount it either fan side down or fan side up, because there's ventilation in the mesh or on the bottom, depending where you live. If you're on a carpeted floor, then I would say put it in with the fan facing upwards, so it takes in fresh air from the inside of the case, and also to some extent it may actually exhaust some of the hot air inside the case also. All we need is 4 screws on there. There's a little bit of a kind of wiggle room in there, so let's get one of the screws in to hold it into place. Is that in? Yep, we're good. So who is looking forward to Intel potentially releasing some graphics cards in the near future? I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that. I did own some Intel graphics cards way back. I think it was called like the i740 or i720 or something. This is in the old days of the SIS chipsets and things like that. A long time ago.
What is the best cheap case with pretty good airflow and a PSU with full shroud? Ooh, blimey, that is a tough one. I would say probably the Techwear Torque. I think that had a completely covered basement section, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. They do change their designs every now and then. So let's see if we can get. That's our graphics card ones. We don't need that right now. Those are our SATA. Don't need them right now. So that is our power and our 12 volt power for the power. Oh yeah, that's going to reach there absolutely fine. Well, I say fine. It's not. Could be. That is the one thing downside of these power supplies. The cables are a little bit on the short side, if I'm completely honest. I did mention it in the review. I did see it as being a kind of pertinent point. Some people may struggle, but luckily this case has got tons and tons of room. So I've just put the power connector in this top corner here. And there's plenty of wiggle room there and loads of room to get your fingers in. Although if you're putting a radiator in there, you might find it slightly tougher. If we go back to the other camera view, you can see now there's a little bit of slack there. It would have been nice to see a bit more, just so we could wire it through a little bit neater. It's not going to be a perfectly neat build in the back here, but I think for the sake of £27, which is what that power supply costs, for this particular build, and actually for quite a few builds, I think it's going to be absolutely fine. And I'm dropping my mic. I really should start using my wireless mic again. It makes life a lot easier. Just going to hook this onto my... On my belt. I'll just stick it there. Just there, please. Did you see Kath putting that down? Yeah, there you go. Look at that nice cup of Rosie Lee. Yeah. Kath doesn't want to be on camera, everybody.
Never ever.
Never ever. Apart from after streams, for some reason, she seems to be okay with that, but I think it's because we use the laptop, and the quality of the webcam on the laptop is essentially what I can only call pretty much shocking. It's awful. If I was buying that laptop with the intention of doing any form of streaming from it using the built-in webcam, then I think I would have chosen differently.
Why not use the Aerocool 700 watt, only 10 quid more and greater GPU support?
Well, we're not putting a GPU in this one, and this is basically just like almost like a proof concept to see what this case is actually like. I'm not actually putting a graphics card in here, it's using the onboard one. If I was doing this for somebody else, I probably would maybe go with a slightly higher wattage one. Although saying that, those the 700 watt version now is much more expensive. Even the non-modular one is considerably more expensive. So yeah, the days of cheap power supplies temporarily seem to be at somewhat of a halt. So that's our front IO, so we can kind of route that around here, underneath there, ready for when we spin it round. What else have we got? Is that USB or is that audio?
Is that one USB,
That's USB
3 and 2 USB 2s?
That is correct, yes.
And when do they do that?
Actually, no, what is it? Let's have a look. I can't see from here, I'll have to change the camera. So yeah, one USB 3 and 2 USB 2.0. For me, I don't know, I think probably 2 USB 2.0 and 1 USB 3.0 is probably fine on a front panel, but it depends on the individual what you're actually looking to connect. For me personally, I would probably have maybe a camera, webcam, or maybe a microphone plugged in. Excuse me. And the only fast transfer drive or stuff I'd have would probably be like a flash drive or something. And very rarely you need to plug in 2 flash drives at the same time. So I think 1 USB 3.0 is fine. It's nice to have 2 of each if you can. Again, everything these days is built to a particular price point, be that a good thing or a bad thing.
Can you do benchmarks?
I don't think I can. I'll see what is. I don't think there's Windows installed on the. Well, actually, no, there won't be Windows installed because it's a brand new drive. So I'm gonna have to install Windows and then download all the other updates, etc., to give it a good run. We will take a look at the benchmarks. Realistically, benchmark-wise, I think there's a lot of benchmarks already been done on the 3400G over the years. I think most people kind of understand what it'll do. Essentially, it's pretty much the same as a RX 550, a GT 1030. So regardless of really what it is you're actually trying to do, what games you're playing, it's not a speed demon. It'll get the job done, and for a lot of people, it's more than adequate.
3400G is 130 on carries.
Yeah, but they haven't got any in stock, and you can't collect it.
And also, can you do the flash joke again, please?
Can I do the flash juke? What, the CIT flash juke? Who's asked for that?
Allosaurus.
Okay, yeah, the CIT flash. Excuse me. The CIT flash is no longer with us at the moment, so that joke is a little bit gone now.
We're talking about flash drives.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. Okay, every time I say flash drive, we can do that, I suppose. One thing I don't like about MSI boards is their placement of the USBs. Although saying that, what do you guys think about it? Let me know in the chat there, or let Kath know. USB 3.0 ports generally tend to be in 2 places. So one is here at the very bottom, or here optionally. I actually prefer them to be on this side panel because you can kind of wire it in and run the cables with the main power supply to make it look less ugly. Whereas when they tend to be on the bottom, it's actually difficult to get the cable in and bend the cable round as well sufficiently to hide it so it doesn't look awful. And again, if I had a couple of quid for every time somebody posted a picture on the Discord of the remainders of their USB 3.0 ports that they accidentally pulled out with the rest of the motherboard, then yeah, we'd be doing pretty well. So we're going to do the front I/O now. So this is the power switch, the hard drive LED, the power LED, etc., etc. So you can work this however you want to. Essentially, they all are pretty much identical. So if you've got the block of 9 connectors, almost like a USB type connection. So from the bottom, you'll be going hard drive LED plus, hard drive LED minus, then reset switch that can go either way. Then on the top, you've got your power LED plus and minus, and next to that, you've got your power switch. So they all pretty much work in the same way. Some motherboards, such as ASUS, come often with a little adapter which you can use, which is really, really handy and just makes life a little bit easier. Now, I would say, personally, when you're doing this, if you start with the hard drive LED plus and minus into the bottom corner, that way you can actually see where it goes. The reset switch goes into that nice and easily, and then you should find you've got 1 pin left on the end, which is not attached to anything. So then next to that, you want your power LED plus on the top at the very end, which then you can use the HD one underneath it as kind of like a guide to kind of push it onto the pins. I really, really wish I could show you a close-up version of this, but it's a little bit difficult to do. So then power switch goes next to that, so that is pretty much it. And then you can pull through any of the excess cable. Don't do what some people do in this particular instance, is to try and cable manage the rear I/O, the cabling behind, before you've connected up stuff on your motherboard. If you start doing it first of all on the back, well, it can make it a little bit tidier. Some people say to do it. I know Jay's 2 Cents often does it. He does it and does the cable management first on the back, then kind of attaches everything after, which, I don't know, maybe it's just the way that I've always built PCs, but I find it easier to do this way. And also you've got a little bit more flex on the cables, so you can get to things a little bit easier. But okay. Everybody's got their own methods and reasoning and whatever you for it, but I find it easier to do that and then just do something with the wires after. Kath has a question.
Caden wants to know, is it bad to get a CPU from eBay?
No, it's getting a sorry, Caden, for those of you who didn't hear possibly Kath say it, Caden's asked, is it bad to get a CPU off eBay? Now, depending where you are in the world, first here in the UK, if you use PayPal, you're pretty much covered in most eventualities. eBay do side extremely heavily with the actual buyer. So as a seller, I would recommend not selling on eBay, especially if it's something which is expensive and you can't live without. Because it's quite often someone will say, nope, didn't work, or didn't turn up, or whatever, and basically eBay will almost immediately give your hard-earned money back to the person, which is, I think, unfair. They don't really do a great deal of investigation. They basically take the money straight away and then kind of hold it. Sometimes they give it straight back, sometimes it takes a little while, but normally they don't do very much investigation and they immediately side with the customer. So you can buy stuff, and if you're one of those unscrupulous people, you could just say you never received it. And you'll pretty much...
If you're using PayPal.
Yeah, that's if you're using PayPal, or if you're using obviously things like cash or checks, stuff like that, then that does give you obviously a bit more of a safeguard. But for most people, I don't know, it's a risky thing. I try to avoid eBay as much as I can as a seller, because it's just an absolute nightmare. As a buyer, you've got really good buyer protection, so if anything does actually go wrong, normally you can get it sorted out pretty darn quickly.
Alexander wants to know, will you upload the build as a video at the end too?
No.
This will be processed.
Yeah, this will be processed and you can watch it as like a video on demand type deal. Like I did say a little bit earlier, depending on how it goes with if we can get an install started and get all that stuff going, then I might try and do some benchmarks. We'll see how it goes, but it's most likely, actually that's not fitted in there very well. Let's do that again. That's what I get for thinking and doing stuff at the same time. Now it's stuck. Right, I'm just going to chuck all those wires in there and make a bit of a mess. This is what I should have done to start with. So any cables we don't need, we can just tuck away. And actually, it seems like, oh, actually, we do need a SATA for the controller in a little while. So leave one of those out and tuck that away. Now we've got to do the kind of laborious task of basically putting the fans and the cooling system in. So essentially, that is pretty much it. We could almost fire it up if it wasn't for the cooler. We haven't got any fans to connect as such yet, so yeah, that is pretty much it.
Pierre's off.
Thanks, Pierre. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully this helps with your insomnia. Cathal almost smiled then.
I didn't.
Very nearly. I caught you. So these are the fans we're going to be using. These are brilliant. These are so quiet, it's ridiculous. And yeah, I think they got a maximum speed of only about 1,000 RPM, so even at full whack, you basically don't know they're actually on. They're really, really nice fans. Obviously, we've got RGB connections to contend with as well, so we'll be going with kind of one there. Does that have screws? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's true, yeah. These come with a whole bunch of screws as well, because of the design of them, they give you kind of like radiator screws and all that kind of stuff as well. Although I wouldn't recommend them for a radiator in any way, shape or form.
Richard's asking, is the Techware Forge S good? If so, where do I get it?
Techware Forge S, I'm not too sure.
Did we do that one?
I think we did the Techware Forge RGB or M RGB. It was quite a while ago, so
Forge M.
Yeah, the Forge M is pretty good. And if you want to know where to get one, probably the best place is, well, it depends where you are. If you're in the UK, CCL is pretty good. Amazon are generally quite good, because at least with Amazon you can buy it, and if you don't like it, just send the damn thing back. Which I really do love using Amazon. Actually, what was it I had the other day? Oh yeah, we about a week or so ago, it might have been actually longer than a week, but a while back, Christ, I've never opened this one. A while back, we bought a CIT not CIT, one of the Aerocool Cylons, and for some reason, I think it's due to the manufacturing process. I think I talked about it in one of the streams. One of the actual cables was broken, where they put like the SATA cables, the in-between bits, and they basically just crimped the cable a little bit too hard, so it damaged the cable, and there was a loose cable. So I sent it back, and because I buy quite a lot of them, there was some kind of confusion that they refunded twice or refunded one. I can't quite work out what the heck happened actually. It's a really confusing setup. But essentially, I got on the sort of live chat with Amazon, explained the deal, and they're like, yeah, that's no problem. We'll make sure you don't get any more of those return letters, blah, blah, blah. All done. And that was all completed in a case of probably, what, 4 or 5 minutes? A really short time. And it just reminded me why I actually do love using Amazon for pretty much everything, because it's just so easy. I know there's the kind of whole Amazon, they're killing small businesses. For things that you can actually get from a smaller business locally, then definitely, if you can shop local, because it does make a lot of sense to support your local community and use cash and all that kind of stuff. But for some things, I don't think you can beat Amazon. I really don't.
I love that. What version of the trusty Cylon are you using?
We're using the 500 watts, which actually is probably overkill for this, but at least then, if at some point in the future there was miraculously a graphics card that you could actually purchase, then there is some cabling available so you could put one in. But with graphics cards not being... I've actually noticed, because graphics cards aren't available right now, I don't know if anyone else has noticed it, but it seems that power supplies have actually got considerably cheaper recently. Power supplies used to be like really expensive and basically not available. But we've actually noticed in the last, probably the last week, I think, more so, that there has been an absolute ton, literally a ton of power supply offers. Not just from Amazon, from other places as well. Which normally means one of two things. Either the supply chain is getting better, so supplies are getting through, or the fact that people just can't build PCs, can't actually get graphics cards, so they're not buying power supplies, which I think is the most likely scenario. So there is our fan in the back there. I'll put it kind of 50-50. There is a little bit of adjustment now, height adjustment, top and bottom, so I put it kind of dead center, which is going to be pretty close to the VRM, so should pull away some of the warmth from the VRMs. Although, realistically, with this processor, I don't envisage there being a great deal of heat coming from it anyway. So that is that one done. This is the laborious task of putting the fans in. So if you've got any questions while we're doing this,
Matthew's asked,
feel free.
Getting a replacement for that up cooler.
I haven't as of yet. I do have another cooler in the pipeline, which is the Ventro V5, which I want to try and get that done first. But I will take another look at the up here ones. Although there's a part of me which says that I don't really want to. Some of the up here stuff, it was up here, wasn't it? Yeah, it was up here. Some of their stuff just comes through and it's so badly packaged and mishandled on the way. Now some of that can be down to obviously things like the Amazon driver and that kind of stuff, which I totally understand, it does happen. But I don't know, the packaging does seem to be a little bit rubbish. But we'll see. It might happen. Sorry?
Daz is off.
Cheers, Daz. Catch you later. I should.
You've got a PSU NZXT Series 650 for £80. Fully modular, gold standard.
Yeah, the 650 watt golds at the moment do seem to be actually really good pricing. Now what I'm doing with these fans is I'm actually just putting them in loosely on 2 screws so I can do a bit of adjustment on this top section. So if we do need to modify any of the installation, it's a little bit easier to do. There's a couple of places I could have put these fan cables through actually, but I think I'll do it there. With addressable RGB fans, look at the back. You can't really see it there, but on the back there is a label of the actual fan. Make sure the label, they all face the same way. So if you do go for any addressable shenanigans, then it's going to be, they're all going to be firing in the right direction or at the right part. So if it's pink here, it kind of goes around like that, rather than kind of one being there and being this kind of weird offset. Although if the weird offset is your thing, then obviously feel free to ignore everything I've just said. So now we've got the fans in. I actually did that one up a little bit too tight. So if you're a bit of a perfectionist, you can kind of move them around a little bit, maybe space them out equally. So if there is any light to be bleeding out, then it's visible. So that I think looks good there. Obviously you can move the fans around after. But yeah, nice bit of gap there. Some people like to put them directly next to each other, but we've got a little bit of extra room there, so might as well make use of it. Don't think it'll make any difference whatsoever for turbulence, but being as these have got sort of edge lighting to the fans, then I think it's going to look a little bit nicer. What do I know? So okay, thanks for all of you for joining us on this impromptu stream. Roughly 100 of you currently watching. So thank you very much for joining us. For those of you that are new here and don't know what the hell's going on, I am Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. Kath is over there answering some of your questions, hopefully, and typing in stuff into the chat. Kath doesn't like going on camera, so...
I don't answer things, I tell you.
Yeah, she mostly just relays the questions, but it's the same deal.
Matthew Landry has it got RTX 3090 if it's overkill.
No,
I'm glad I said that.
No, the RGB is overkill. The graphics card certainly isn't.
And somebody earlier asked how much. I forgot to say that.
How much? I actually don't know how much this is worth. It was literally one of those things. It's like, right, I need to do something with this case. Let's just put something in there, see how it all goes, see what works, see what doesn't, and we'll kind of worry about the rest after.
Where's Ugly Bob?
Ugly Bob? Don't know, dead? Who knows? he'll be around one day. He's probably having his tea. It is tea time in the UK.
He's sulking if he went first.
He probably is sulking, yeah. So we have
He's 103rd.
we've got a smorgasbord of cabling happening right now. Actually, what is all this? So RGB, RGB, RGB. Oh yeah, front, side, back, rear. That's all coming through. That's going to be an absolute rat's nest to deal with. So you can see already, got a ton of cables.
Is it an APU if it's no GPU?
It is an APU, yes. The Ryzen 3400 is a APU. Did you ask that, Kath?
Someone asked what graphics card.
Ah, well done. So,
Slowly.
she's getting there, everybody. She really, really, truly is.
Johnny asked, do you tear down the builds afterwards ready for the next one?
Some I do. We're not in a position where we're kind of lucky enough to get stuff sent to us on a ridiculously regular basis. Most of the stuff at the moment, to be honest with you, we are buying ourselves. There's very few things that we actually get sent. So I do try and make use of things multiple times. Like these fans, for instance, and the power supply. So hopefully you can see that now. Those are going to look pretty nice in there. There's a slightly strange design about those fans, but hopefully the top RGB is going to be shown. I think it's going to be covered up a bit actually. Would have been nice if they were a little bit lower. But anyway, so we're getting somewhere. So we've got 3 RGB fans, we've got 4 sticks of RGB RAM. Now all we need is something to cool the processor. And then we've got to find somewhere to stick all of this RGB gubbins. So the Gamemax controller is... I'm not too sure how well this is going to work, to be honest with you, because you're supposed to plug in 4-pin fans. So they might just go at full speed, which is kind of often the case. But because they're low speed fans, we shouldn't be having too many problems. So let's take a look at the CPU cooler. So we're going to be using the XPG Levante 240mm. So it's compatible with OrSync, Gigabyte RGB Fusion, Mystic Sync, and ASRock RGB LED. Although ASRock RGB LED should really be retired because it is absolutely awful. Yes, Gaff?
Those the easy DIY RAMs heat sinks.
No, they're not easy DIY ones. They're kind of on a similar principle, but they are actually from V Color. So let's have a look, see what we get inside of here. Actually, let's move that out the way slightly.
There's a frying pan on the rack.
And go back to this. I just felt the box, actually it feels a bit light. I'm hoping it is actually still in here. No, I haven't.
Asked when the GTX 1650 will be able to be back in stock.
GTX 1650 is in stock now, most places, I think.
He's Spain.
Oh, no idea. So we've got 2 RGB fans. Actually, I suppose technically we could... No, we couldn't. I was just thinking we could use the other fans, but we can't. So we've got our mounting hardware here. Do you know what? This has been so long since I actually looked at this. I do not recall how it actually fits together. So this could be a learning curve and a half. Ah, that reminds me. Yeah, that's the AMD mounting ring and mountings there, definitely. And that is the fan screw. So that's the one we need. That is some RGB shenanigans there. Might need that. There's some RGB stuff in there as well, but I don't think we need that. So I'll have to leave that to one side. So this is basically around a normal Asetek unit. No real surprises there, to be honest with you. Quite a common design. Pretty good though. Does the job, and it's a 240, so it fits in pretty well. It's quite slimline as well, as you can probably see. I did do a review of this a little while back, and I think I tested it against my Ryzen 3400, and it didn't do too bad at all. Very similar to the what's the company?
XPG.
No, the other one. Arctic Freezer 240. These nice bends on the side there which don't appear to leak, which is always a good sign. So now we have to work out which way we're going to round. So I'm thinking we should probably go in a pull configuration. I don't know. Let me know. What do you think in the chat? Let us know. Do I want to have it pulling the air in from the front through the radiator, or do we want it in a pool configuration? So are we going to do that? Then have this as the bit at the front, so we see a little bit of RGB on the inside of the case, or do we go with the fans on the front, pushing air through the radiator, which either way really is going to look pretty much the same. I don't think I actually tested it in push, or did I? Yeah, I did test it in push.
Let's Go Gaming says you should do a 6700 XT build.
I should. I would love to do a 6700 XT build. If I could actually buy one, I would love to. Now the issue we have here is, because the way that RGB works, and depending if the other fans are set up in the same way, whether or not the label on the back will kind of make it so that it's the same. So say for instance, red's here, green's there, blue's there, etc, etc. I honestly don't know. So I think what I'm going to do is
inside. Full air in, RGB inside.
So mount the radiator to the front and then have the fans pulling in.
Not clear.
Yeah, I don't know whether, because there's a lot of cabling on this side. So actually we're going to be that way up, aren't we? Because I'm going to actually, let's do a quick test fit a minute and see if the pipe work and all that kind of stuff will actually reach, because that is one consideration. I'm hoping to be able to do it pipes down, but it might not be enough room, or it might not be ooh, that is going to be close, very close, and actually that is going to look particularly ugly. Let's see.
RGB inside is pretty clear, definitely.
So that is. Ooh. This is why
Let's Go Gaming subscribe.
Should they?
Yeah.
Nah. Yeah, that might work. Might be an operative word. Right. I think before I do too much, let's get the cooler mechanism actually installed and the backplate done. This is going to be horrendous. I can see it already. So we've got the kind of almost traditional setup here. One thing I actually do like about this design, if I recall rightly, are these little standoffs that they use. So you kind of screw the standoffs into the standard AMD backplate, which kind of holds everything in place. I really do like that. That's a great design. There's far too many which... Actually, this is pretty much the same as the fractal design. See what I did there? So the fractal...
Ugly Bob's in the house.
S36. Hey, Bob! What was I doing? Don't know. Totally lost my mind. So I'm going to take the back off. Let's see if I can beat Kerry Holzman and get this done in less than a day. It's a sneaky little grin there.
Should have done those earlier with board out.
Well, yeah, potentially that is. Luckily, this we've got a load of room on the back, so you get really good access to the back plate. And the good thing about these particular screw-ons is you can put them in, and it stops the back plate falling out. So if you haven't undone the last screw, it isn't a problem.
Ugly Bob's working out in his garage doing weights and watching this.
Oh no! Bob's getting all hot and sweaty watching this. Ew. So I've really kind of done this in a particular way just to show that there's so many different ways of actually building a PC. And like I said, there isn't really a wrong way, there isn't really a right way for majority of things. It's just doing whatever is simpler. If I was doing this and the camera wasn't rolling, I would have probably done things... Actually saying that, I don't think I would have probably done it the same. But with the camera rolling, it is more difficult because I'm thinking a few steps ahead all the time. Thinking, oh, if I do this, is it going to affect that, etc. Am I going to have to redo it all? Because you don't want to be doing a stream for like 12 hours or something crazy, because it's pointless doing that. But sometimes things happen. It goes wrong.
Craig Lewis, local Craigslist GPU sellers apparently don't know about the GPU shortage. Just call the guy who's selling his RTX 2080 for $299.99.
Bloody hell. Buy it, but make sure if you do. Where's this? Is this in the USA?
I assume so, it's dollars.
Oh yeah, if it's in the USA, yeah. Go with people, take protection, don't pay cash. And make sure there's a graphics card in the box. Normally, I'm not saying it is the case, but normally, if something seems incredibly cheap, or indeed too good to be true, it normally is. So yeah, be careful. Be very careful. Right, we need some thermal compound on this, so it would seem only fitting, being that this is a IONZ case, that we use some of their IONZ thermal compound. Oof. There's actually a spatula in there. Who uses a spatula?
I do, and I eat scribble.
He says taking the paste thing out with his tongue and teeth.
Tongue?
Me tongue.
You should do more build streams.
I should do more build streams, you're absolutely right. But there is this thing called
limited parts.
Sleep, limited parts, and limited hours in the day. And it takes me normally about 3 hours a day just to answer, actually it's probably more than that. It probably takes about 3 hours a day, at least, just to answer YouTube questions. And that's the easy ones. The hard ones take a little bit longer. So, where did I, oh there it is. So, this is, let's think about this now. Actually, we can sort out that after. So with this one, you've got this kind of tightening ring. That kind of locks into place. Just make sure it's upright. Yep, that looks good. And really simple, all you do is just place it over the rods which are sticking out, which hopefully you can see. I'll try and get it so that you can see it and I can see it. And the AM4 brackets there, and there, and then just push it on, and with one finger just holding it lightly in place so it doesn't go all over the place. Get a screw on, don't do it all the way up, just do it up sort of thumb tight, or finger tight I suppose. And then once you've got a couple of them on, then you can release it a little bit. Just spin them on. And that essentially is it. So now we can tighten it down a bit. So quarter of a turn, 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 and that should, yep, that's that one. That one, that one's nowhere near, close enough. Oh, that one's a little bit looser. So that, you could just do it like that with thumb tight. If you want to, you can go ahead after and just give it another little cinch down with the screwdriver. They are thumb screws, so it's designed to make it easier to do it by thumb, but they're not kind of torqued screws, if that makes any sense. So you do need to have a little bit of pressure on them, but not too much. Does that make any sense at all? I don't think it does it?
Jonas asked, just curious, do you prefer to assemble the computer standing up, and why? They like doing it lying down.
I would probably prefer to do it stood up if I could. I would love to have like an up desk or something. That would be great. So I'm going to plug this into, being that this is the pump, I'm going to plug that into the pump fan header on the MSI board. And the pump fan I'll probably end up setting to probably 90% speed, just so it's at a constant volume. You find with pumps, they get to a certain point where they start making a bit of a noise. All of them do, is inevitable. So ideally in your pump software or your fan software, just find what is the sweet spot for you. It might be 100%, you might find it's fine and it doesn't make too much noise at all. sometimes a little bit lower. If you're at 90%, you can set a slight curve, so it kind of starts maybe 90 and then goes to 100% after a certain threshold. But normally you find if you've got a constant flow of water, it's actually better than having the kind of the pump spin up and spin down all the time. For the longevity, and also if you think about it, if you've got water going around in a certain direction, imagine if you're in a swimming pool and you're all walking around one of those lazy rivers and you're walking along with the flow of the water. If you want to speed up, you can do, it's not too bad. If you want to slow down, it's really difficult because all that flowing water is behind you and it kind of still pushes you forward, which essentially is what happens to the impeller blades. And normally most impellers tend to be kind of plastic, so if it's getting hot, it is on a CPU, the plastic eventually is going to become brittle. So ideally, for the longevity of your pump and the impeller, if you have it set at a constant speed, it's always going to be doing the same thing. The temperature will change still, but because it's all flowing at a constant thing, in theory it should last longer because you haven't got that revving up and revving down of the motor. That almost made sense. Like, get the RGB cables out. There is a lot of cabling in here. Like, seriously, a lot of cabling.
Why do you prefer doing it standing up?
I think I just don't like sitting down for too long, especially on this chair.
You, the case.
Oh, why do I? Well, I would prefer to work. Yeah, I would prefer the case to be let down. To be completely honest with you, it would be a lot easier to do, but it doesn't make for a particularly good viewing, especially for me sat down. If I stood up looking over, it's easier. But being on the same level, kind of, it does block all your vision. It's really difficult to explain, really.
It's because you're on camera.
And it's because I'm a bit simple. So, anyway, I'm really thinking about how to do this. So, yeah, radiator at the front, fans behind. I think that is going to be the way to go. The downside of this is if you actually had a graphics card, you'd have to kind of move these out, which would then make it look a little bit weirder. It'd be kind of like that. Actually, that might work.
Don't know if we can see that very well.
That might work. So let's put that in there. Let's get some screws in here. Screw-AIO.
Turn with the tube on the top.
No. We're not having the tubes on the top. That's definitely not going to happen.
Jay Jones is curious. Is AI Suite 3 and Fan Expert 4 okay to use for my Arctic freezer? 240, which stepson finally installed.
AI Suite, that's Asus, isn't it? Yeah, AI Suite's good. I use that wherever I can.
Does it matter which way up the radiator is set up?
Yeah, there is a kind of rule of thought where, because of how water works and how pumps are filled, and because it's a sealed unit, you're better off having the pipes at the bottom. Now the reason behind that is because you want the highest point of the radiator assembly and the water cooling to be above the pump. So that way, if there is any air in the system, it will get trapped in this top section and not get dragged into the pump, because that's when you start getting things like pump noise or the pump wearing out. Water pumps have to have fluid going through them in order for them to work. If you run them dry, much like in a car, for those of you that are car owners, if you've got a car and you run your water pump for your windshield or windscreen, you run it dry, the pump dies. And that's because it actually uses the fluid in the screen wash pump to lubricate the bearing of the impeller. So similar principle with a PC setup, because it's essentially the same deal. So if you get air going through it, it reduces the life of it because it's basically unlubricated. You wouldn't do it with an engine, so no reason why you'd do it with a radiator. And is that too high? Can I lower it? I can't really lower it down.
Budget TLK mechanical keyboard. Do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, what was the one I did the other day? That was pretty decent. Oh no, I give it away, didn't I? the Sahara one.
No, some Vision, wasn't it?
Oh, sorry, yeah, Some Vision, my mistake. Yeah, Some Vision ACES. ACIES. That was pretty decent.
And the spuds every time I turn on the PC at full screen, so Discord.
Yeah, Discord. Right, so that is the radiator in. I'm not too sure about these pipes. That might be okay. I might end up doing them like that. I think that... Does that look neater? Right. I think it does. And also it's not covering up the RGB RAM sticks now. And probably detracts from the brown of the motherboard. I do detest that motherboard. What a horrible sack of crap. There's no other words for it. Awful, absolutely awful. Okay, so wiring. I need to check out possibly the manual on this because I don't recall how this whole thing goes. So they should be that way round, and they daisy chain, so that makes sense-ish. Oh. I don't like reading instruction manuals because often they make no sense anyway.
Can you connect Ryzen APU with NVMe 4.0 at full speed?
No. Can't be done. The APUs reduce the PCI Express bandwidth to the top slot from 16 times to 8 times. So you do get a reduction in transfer speed. Oh, no, actually, saying that, lanes-wise, you might be okay lanes-wise. I'm thinking of graphics cards. It depends, I think, on the chipset and the board. This was a big mistake.
So Jay's asked, so Fan Expert 4 auto-tuning is fine?
I'm not too sure. I can't remember. What motherboard is it? I can't see a thing now. I'm sure that was the right screws. Come on. Those fans are going to look really ugly that way around.
Asus ROG Strip X570F.
I'm not too sure on that. I think if the Fan Expert software is on the ASUS site, then it's fine to use. But I haven't owned that board, so I don't know for sure. But normally if it's on their site, it's fine. Yeah, this is where I realised that I should have actually put the fans on before, because there's not a lot of room here. Although I can put them on finger tight, so not the end of the world. Ooh. So let's have a look. This is actually quite fiddly. Good, good. I'm not too sure what the static pressure is actually like on these fans, whether or not it's going to do a good job or not. And that one is right in the way.
Ugly Bob says you can do it, we believe in you.
Someone's got to. You can do it. What was that from? That was from a film, I can't remember which one it was. Oh, come on. Yeah, I'm not taking the rad out again to do that. I'm really not. It's not going to happen. I will screw with confidence regardless of the consequences.
Don't mess with the Zohan.
And if yeah, it might have been actually. You can do it. I can't remember.
And Little Nicky.
Little Nicky, I think it might have been. It was one of the Sandler films anyway. I was thinking it might have been like Waterboy or something. Whoever did it, thanks. Now this is not great. I knew I should have went for air cooler, but every now and then it's a good idea to kind of test yourself and see what you can do and essentially see what components can do. It's really weird looking inside a PC when there's no graphics card and you've got loads of water cooling and RGB, because there's like a big void where there's nothing. Yeah, this, in hindsight, putting the radiator in first might have been beneficial. I'm going to unplug the CPU connector there. This is where a helmet cam would have been a good idea. So, actually, that's not looking bad. If this works, ow, that hurt. Try not to put too much pressure on the back of the motherboard when you're pressing through, because the spiky pins on the back will pierce you. As I just found out. Oh dear Lord.
I reckon there's a bit of dust in my beard there as well, possibly.
Yeah, that might be.
So, actually, that's not too bad looking at the moment. What do you think? It's slightly unusual. And we have got an absolute ton of wires on the side here, which I don't think are going to be hidden very well. Oh well, it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. You didn't come here for technical information, you came here to be entertained. By an absolute idiot. Oh dear. Right. So that can go into that extension. That can go into there. That should fit in there. I think that is why I liked this before, because you could just hide all that crap out of the way when it's on the back side, which you can't really do from there. I could probably kind of reconfigure that a little bit to make it a little bit tidier. I don't think it's the optimum place for it. So that is our extension for the RGB. So plug that in there. So then that can run right across the top of the rad and out the back through one of the pokey holes. We've got plenty of pokey holes here, which is always good. So that's good, that's good. Good. And that'll be the extension for the PWM header. Bit too much wiring really. Would have been nice to be able to hide all that away, but I did what you asked. I did it with the fans on the inside rather than the other side. So I do apologise. Ugly Bob's given us a £5 super chat and says, will some RGB help with the visibility? Yes, it will actually, I think. And it certainly helps lift the mood.
Oh, too late.
And Kath is out doing other things. She doesn't care about you, Bob. Oh, crap. All right, time out, everybody. Have you just made that tea?
No.
Cool. It will be. Very cool. Don't knock that. Right, so that isn't particularly pretty right there, but then you can't see because the cat's there. We're getting somewhere at long last. So the radiator's in. Actually, everything is in. There's nothing more that we can put in there. That is pretty much it. So we can start sealing up the front here a little. So whether or not the filter is necessary or not, I don't know.
I'm sorry. My cat.
Can you mute yours?
Sorry?
Can you mute yours, please? So that is that. Put the front on, that way we can start clearing some room. At least we can say that the front is done. The back, not so much. So we have got an absolute nightmare of cabling to go here. I'm not entirely sure how much room we're going to have for this RGB setup in here. Is there going to be enough room on here and to be able to close the back? I don't think so. So this might actually have to go either underneath or on the back of the CPU plate, which is going to be tight. Actually, there's a back panel. Actually, no, we might be all right. Let's try a quick test fit and see how bad things are going to be. So ignore some of the other cabling here. You can't see that, it's not actually there.
La la la.
Yeah, la la la, it's not there. It was a little bit too... Come on, Curly Sue. So we are going to be slightly limited on how far some of these cables go. So we... Feck. As they say, I might have to end up mounting it somewhere around here. So let's put that to one side. So yeah, I think somewhere here is going to be essentially where it's going to have to reside. Oof. Oh, if only it went a little bit further, we could get it, tuck it underneath there. Oh, and we need to have access to both sides of the controller. So
Scrunch and put back on, job done.
actually that'll go there. That'll ding dang do for me. Possibly. Right.
Should you have the other camera on?
I probably should have the other camera on so the dudes could see. So there it is. I think we can go there. And that shouldn't be too problematic, I don't think. Let's give you some, see if that'll actually focus. There we go. So yeah, I think there will be okay. We'll have to, there's nothing plugged in that side apart from the extra RGBs. Actually, how many is on there? There's 4. Oh, damn it. No, it needs to be plugged in there, so it might have to come out a little bit more. Which means it's a little bit close on this side. Oh, lordy.
Ugly Bob's finding it hard to type with his weight gloves on. And they're not Lisa Sue's gloves either, they're his own.
Oh dear. So let's plug that one in there, because that one's definitely got to go.
Vegan killer wants to destroy consoles with a sledgehammer
That sounds like a reasonable thing to do.
and wants to build PCs for retro gaming.
That sounds even more fun. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, damn it. That's going to have to go in there. 2 pins. Oh, why don't you fit in there, you absolute swine. Have I already damaged this at some other life? That went in then. Yeah, I didn't break a pin. You'd think by now, RGB, they would actually try and change it so that it worked better. It wasn't so prone to being destroyed by sausage fingers.
Where can Vegan Killer get some old PC parts for their build?
Old PC parts, it depends where you are. If you're in the UK, then there's not really that much about, apart from probably Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that.
eBay.
Yeah, eBay is always a good one. Don't forget to use the affiliate links. Right, so that goes there. And that doesn't need to go anywhere else, because what is on here? Oh man, this is a wiring nightmare. So we've got an RGB controller header there, and we've also got our PWM connection there. So that's going to have to go to the motherboard somewhere. That one we don't have to go anywhere because we don't have any RGB on the board. So that can be ignored. I wonder if that is separate. No, it's not. So I'm just going to get some cable ties and going to cable tie that out the way, just to so I know what's going on. If you had a motherboard with addressable RGB support, well, you probably wouldn't want to use this type of controller.
Don't mention sausage fingers or Dory's lamps will bite you.
Oh God, please don't bite. I got bit by an Alsatian once.
where?
Ex-police dog bit me on the ass. Literally on the ass.
On the bear.
Even broke me jeans. Unbelievable. Just come back from being off sick for a day, went into work,
For sleeping.
and then got bit on the ass by a dog. And it's my boss's brother's dog. Son of a bitch. Ex-police dog just bit my ass. And that hurt. Dog was like really placid, wouldn't do anything. It was like a retired police dog. More like a retarded police dog. It bit my ass. What the hell's all that about?
Hungry.
I just looked at it and it was like, okay, well that looks like a tasty bit of butt right there. I'm going to chomp on down on that. And you certainly did. The teeth went right through my jeans. Damn.
Can it be mounted near PSU or limited by cables?
Yeah, we're limited by cables. We could probably, well, we can get almost down there. Kind of somewhere along here, possibly. Actually, that might even work there. Oh no, because we need access to the fans on this side. Hey. Actually, yeah, let's work out what we've got here. So these are our two fans. I may actually just get to the point of saying to hell with it and just chuck it in there and close the back and forget about it. Pretend it doesn't exist. I think that is becoming more and more likely. Having a 3-pin in there is not a great idea. This is the ugly side of RGB, which we don't often see. And I've got a sneaking suspicion now as well, these haven't been cut out very well. So actually getting the connectors in is going to be problematic. I did say actually when I did the review of this controller that it was like it was great because it did really what it needed to do, but it just wasn't particularly thought out well. It could have done with being a little bit bigger. Does that actually physically go in? No, it doesn't.
Touchdown saying, is that I can't read it properly. So if you don't add RGB, 50 frames per second.
If you don't add RGB, obviously the frames per second are going to deteriorate massively, and yeah, I would certainly recommend against that. All right, so that is the one from the actual pump, because the pump's actually got some RGB on it as well. There's a very, very high chance of me not plugging all these in correctly.
Aletta's here.
Hi Aletta, it's RGB time.
Has she been okay?
Have you been okay? Are you okay, Eddie? No, Annie. Aletti. Aletti, are you okay? Are you okay, Aletti? Oh dear. Really should give up crack. Oh dear. This isn't going to be pretty, so we're definitely just going to close the door on this one when it's all connected up.
Throw the controller in the trash and rewire the crap like I did.
If it wasn't for the fact that I've got to resell it at some point, I probably would, to be honest. That does sound like a lot of sense.
Could be a cat's cradle.
Yeah, so what an absolute mess that is. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that is it. I think that is it. I'm pretty sure that is it. I'm reasonably sure that is it. So I'm not even going to worry about this too much. I'm just going to plug that in there and go la la la, can't see it.
Just put the back on and close it suitcase style.
Yeah, I am going to do this like we're going on holiday.
You could sing Gamemax style as you do it.
Open suitcase style. Right, let's pop that in there, because that's kind of semi-important. We will be needing that connection at some point in the very near future. So let's see, will I be able to fit this? Yeah, of course I will. Of course. Oh god, actually, I am debating it now. Hey! It's only got a little bit of spring back. It's not the end of the world. Well, there will be if any of the cables have been trapped. There's not actually a lot of pressure on there, to be honest. Did I plug everything in? I don't remember. I'm gonna hide. It wasn't me, it wasn't me, it was somebody else. Make the bad people go away. Right, so we've got one fan header, and don't plug it into a USB because that's a rookie mistake to make. Tuck that under there. Now again, obviously, if I was doing this for myself or for a consumer.
What wires?
What wires? Yeah, exactly. Nothing to see here. Move along. If I was doing this for myself or for a customer, then I'd probably take a bit more due care and attention. Realistically, with this, is one of those things that I just wanted to see how the case was to build in, and I feel that I'm getting a pretty good kind of overall feel for it. It isn't bad. There's not really... I've probably made life more difficult for myself than it necessarily needed to be.
That's restriction of parts available.
But yeah, parts availability and all that kind of stuff. And let's do a test fire and see if it actually does work, which would be a wonderful thing. So Kath, can I ask you to do the honours and plug this in?
Alexa's given up PC parts and doing guitars now.
It's probably that probably is the better bet. There is a very much. It is crap times, isn't it? So I'll plug that in there. God, you absolute idiot! She always does that. I know I should know by now, but.
Oh, you jumped so much.
We have lights. Lots of pretty lights. No lights on the RAM. Oh, we've got lights on the RAM as well. Turn the lights off, Kath. Let's just bathe in the beauty for a moment.
Just so you can recover.
And I can recover. There's quite a sizable delay on the camera. There we go. What about that? That is, I think that's the most bling-tastic I've done so far.
I think it might be. I quite like that. I've always liked these fans.
It's very different. The fans are...
Oh, it looks awful on the camera compared to real life.
You've got, what resolution have you got me at?
I don't know, whatever puts you at.
Whatever. Let's have the white LEDs. Now the RAM isn't going to change colour because this, that's on the MSI Doodah. So we have a bit of MSI red.
No gaps in the RAM either.
There isn't. No, there are almost.
Was that a water leak?
Let's hope so.
That's Nick, not me.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate that. So we've got almost exactly no fan control, which I kind of expected. Also, where's the fan speed? I think that was one of the things that I struggled with before. Anyway, it works and it doesn't look that bad, I don't think. That's moderately impressive. If only Cookie was in there.
Cosmic?
No, Cookie.
Oh, yeah.
Stuart Clary says, she's a little beauty. Ugly Bob says, no gaps in the RAM. Exactly. Nick Barnes, is that a water leak? I hope so, because I am well insured. Extremely well insured.
Are you?
Those fans do look lush. There's no other way of...
like those because they're a bit rounded, aren't they?
There's something about them which is got that...
It's because they're square.
Yeah, they've got a real kind of cyberpunk kind of vibe to them. Almost like a neon-y kind of look.
Like,
That does look bloody great. I'm very, very pleased with that. The RAM not syncing up. That's an MSI thing. I can live with that. And surprisingly, these fans are... Yes, please, yeah. The fans are
I'll just do that one now.
very, very good.
Yeah, got
They're putting through a crap ton of air. So, yeah, pretty good. I'm going to put the side panel on a moment.
What's the noise levels like from the AIO?
The AIO, because we've not gone into the BIOS and configured anything at the moment, the AIO fans are literally at full whack, I think, and they sound awful. If I'm being 100% honest, which I suppose I should be. Come on. Oh, come on. That's one thing about these removable side panels, they're not always the easiest to get back on. Yeah, that'll do. Not bad. Not bad at all. Way too noisy, but
Blue lit like Retrotron within.
yeah. I think it would have been nicer to have the fans in the front of the rad, just so there was a bit of light spilling out through this front section. Or maybe ditch the water cooling altogether and maybe put those in the front and just go with a normal cooler. But I do think those Sharkoon fans do look the bomb. They really do. Something really quite special about the way they look.
Dr. John says the fans in the back look like Sharkoon blades.
They are Sharkoon Shark lights, which are kind of similar sort of deal. There's a really really interesting look to them. So I'm pretty pleased with that. Ugly Bobs is not too shabby. Jordy9595 says this PC looked really good. Thank you. Roy says nice. DPCNCRT says, is that a PC? It kind of is. Just about. So what I need to do now is ruin that. So I've unplugged my OBS, which is probably not the best of ideas. And let's see if I can actually get this thing on screen so you guys can see what is actually happening. Where's the damn HDMI? Don't tell me it hasn't got HDMI. No, there it is. So we'll see if it actually booted. Doesn't appear so. Although we've had this before where it says no signal or no cable connected.
Sharkoon fans are now 11 quid each.
11 quid. That's not too bad. I need a keyboard and mouse. There's one.
What are the specs?
The specs are in the video description. But thanks for asking. Actually, that is one of my YouTube pet hates, where you get asked questions and it's like, just read it. Or, do you want me to Google it? No offense.
How much money was that PC? Do you want to add it up?
Yeah, we haven't added it up yet, have we? So let's turn that off. I don't know if it actually is going to boot. I did a BIOS update on this board, so in theory it should. But it might not. Might have to reset the old CMOS. Well, it looked like it did something then. Hey, there we go.
Can't see it.
You have to turn the camera around.
Not the screen.
Nope. Because we have got a wide enough angle now. So keep going a bit more. There we go. Look at that. That's technology for you, ladies and gentlemen.
What, me moving the camera around?
Kath managing to move the camera around without needing a tutorial. Bless her.
Have you got a video of how to move the camera?
So Alt Control Delete, and let's go into the BIOS and figure out what's going on with the fans. The only downside about this is, like, from the angle you guys can see, I can't actually see the monitor. So I might have to watch the stream. Right, sorry, I'm going to put this in front of my my face so I can actually see what is going on here. My
Apologies. So currently CPU speed is 3.7 gigahertz, DDR speed is 260/66, OC Genie is off, and current CPU core temperature is 26 degrees.
Kind of XMP.
Yeah, it should do. Let's see what the memory XMP.
Patrick's just popped in quickly to run his break time.
Hi Patrick. So let's go with that, see if that sticks. I don't know if it will, to be honest with you. Storage wide, there's our Intenso. So fan info, let's go into the CPU pump fan and configure that briefly. So we want the pump and DC, isn't it? Oh, why is it not letting me change that? Damn it! Smart fan mode. Okay. So pump will stick to 100%. Don't think it's going to make a difference whether there's PWM or not. That's weird. PWM says it's 90%. The other says that. Okay.
I don't know if we can see that far.
System fan. No, you probably can't see. I'm sorry.
That's on 360.
Oh, I know what I've done. Rookie mistake again. I've plugged in the fans, all the fans into the same header, haven't I? So yeah, that is a rookie mistake. Damn it. Smart fan mode. Alright, I've got to work out which fan header we're in now.
Yes, you did, Dutch John said.
Yeah, I did plug them all into the same thing. Yeah, I think this might struggle.
Can you overclock 3400G?
Yes, you can.
What software are you using at the moment?
Software-wise, this is the MSI's built-in software. Well, currently it's not picking up an RPM, which actually was one of those things which was an issue before with the Gamemax controller. You have to kind of switch between the two to see which one is in, so let's try that. Actually, I should be able to tell from the motherboard which fan header is connected to. I don't have to unplug anything, so I can just go to there. And which fan header is that? Because that is well noisy. System fan 2, that appears to be. Yeah, that was a rookie error. I shouldn't have done that, really. So system fan 2. Doesn't seem to want to control. Okay. Ah, there we go. That made a slight difference, so that's better. Now there's some vibration coming from something. I'm not entirely sure what. Not the pump. Not those. Don't know if you can pick it up on the camera, or on the microphone rather. So there is definitely... Yeah, the fans are a bit noisy. Yeah, something resonating through the case. Yeah, there is a mechanical drive. I bet it is that. Although I don't think I plugged it in. Oh, do I want to open that?
No.
Yeah, I do. Let's open it up and see. Watch everything fall out, and I might actually reconnect those fans somewhere else. That makes a bit more sense. Yeah, I should have just done the
It sounds quieter since you're taking that side off. My wires against it.
It does sound a bit quieter, doesn't it? So did I?
It's like a different tone now.
Ah, yeah. Oh, the drive wasn't plugged in the... That's better, isn't it? The drive wasn't in very well.
Check me out, finding that bit.
Better still, just unplug it. So, fan-wise, so which was the fans from the fans? Fans from the fans was that one there, so... Enjoy, Matthew. Oh, listen to the silence. That there, ladies and gentlemen, is the sound of a CPU currently not being cooled. How quiet are those fans? They are insane. I can actually hear electrical noise over those fans.
I don't believe they'll go in, put your finger in.
Where is the system pump CPU fan? Where's CPU fan header?
JJ's Ryzen 9 3900X temps vary from, say, 31C to 41C. Is that normal with the Arctic Freezer too?
Yeah, for that processor, damn yeah. Ow. That was inevitable. That's better. Now we've got some actual control over the volume. Can you hear that? All you can hear now is the sound of the RGBs, the actual electrical noise. That is super quiet. It genuinely is.
You sure they're going?
They are going, yeah.
Stick your thumb in.
They're definitely going. Come on, I need some rainbow puke in my life. There we go. At least it matches the RAM now.
Do you think it's worth the trouble putting a liquid AIO on graphics card?
I've never done it, so I don't know. I would think it probably does benefit them. Whether or not it's worth it, that's probably down to the individual, I guess. Right, so the noise that we've got, the electrical noise I can hear, is coming from the pump. Hear the tone change?
Yeah. I can.
So there's a very, very little noise in there. With the side closed, it's like, hello, is it even on? I'm moderately impressed, I've got to be honest. I've still got the back off though. So, right, CPU, oh, if I actually use the mouse for the key for the computer, that'd be really handy, because I don't think using the laptop mouse is actually going to change the BIOS very well. Where is it?
Pump PWM cable.
So PWM, so that is so what temperature are we at? We're at 20, aren't we? There's a nice low curve there. So that is, oh no, that's a system fan. Actually, let's turn those off on full blast, because they make virtually no noise anyway.
Digital demonic Davros.
Yeah, you can barely tell they're running. Or are they being controlled with this?
Ugly Bob says you must have ears like that German Shepherd that bit your ears. Because he can't hear it.
It is, I have got quite sensitive hearing. Right, let's ramp that up a bit now. So let's zero that.
Tony can hear it in Wales.
Tony can hear it in Wales.
No, he didn't say that, but...
That's a nice curve.
Digital demonic Davros likes that case, and you've ignored it.
Sorry, Digital Demonic Davros. I do apologise. I'm thinking 75 steps ahead.
You can't multitask.
So currently the CPU is at 28 degrees C, which considering we're in a 23, 24 degree room, that ain't bad. and it's in the BIOS, so there's basically no kind of power saving or any of that stuff going on. So that isn't bad at all. Yeah, CPU core temperature 28 degrees. The system temperature is 32, so the actual motherboard's hotter than the CPU.
Tony can hear it because he's using the headset E1 or Plus.
Ah, good one. Right, let's turn the OC Genie on. That is on, isn't it? So that's basically allowing precision boost overclocking. We've set the XMP2, and we'll do save and exit. Oh god, look at all these changes. Right, let's see if it'll actually reboot without doing horrible things. And have I got a Windows drive? Okay, something didn't like that. That was when I plugged in the USB, it died. Or was that just because it was saving the BIOS? Who knows? We will find out after this.
You still are on camera.
Is it dead? It is dead, isn't it?
What did you do?
It's I think it's doing memory training. I don't think it liked XMP. We don't have an output now. Although sometimes it takes a little while. We've probably killed the BIOS. Well, not killed the BIOS, but... Oh no, here we go. It's just taking its sweet ass time. OC Genie enabled. Yep, okay. That's fine. So OC Genie warning basically happens every time you do any kind of overclocking or anything. So in theory, oh god, what's it doing now? Did it reboot then? I should be keeping an eye on the LEDs. It's doing the BIOS thing. Hey, there we go. Windows install. Happiness is here again. I just realised actually.
Asking you something.
Yeah, I've just realised we're actually streaming on Wi-Fi. We are streaming on Wi-Fi. Unbelievable. Our new internet is bloody amazing. In fact, it's so good, I don't even know where the LAN cable is. Normally, the first thing I do when I'm streaming is, right, plug in the LAN cable. That is extremely important. And I haven't even plugged in the LAN cable.
Thanks to Matthew Day.
Thanks, Matthew Day. Why am I thanking Matthew Day?
Didn't he help you sort out the internet?
Oh yeah, he did a little bit. Although it was my fault for putting a stupid ass cable in that had 4 pins wired rather than 8. Let's have some interwebs.
Slacked off Virgin Media.
It was partly Virgin Media's fault because they are assholes. I said that in 2 different words, so.
And one was a beer.
Yeah. We are drinking ass tonight. AASS. Custom install. Yeah, there's nothing on there, so happy days. We'll do a quick Windows install, see how things go. I may have to take a brief intermission to go for a une toilette. Let's see, I might answer some questions while I'm doing this. Not while I'm wazzing, obviously.
Is this case a custom order or a regional case?
This case is actually it's kind of neither really. It's basically I sent it for review, and what I normally do is anything I get for review, if I'm not using it, as in using it, like actually in part of the production, I quite normally kind of recycle it to members of our Discord community. So this case was one of the guys on Discord actually wanted it about a month ago, and he said not in any hurry, but yeah.
But tomorrow would be good.
Tomorrow would be good, yeah. So it was like, oh, I really need to do a build in it. I haven't done a build in it. I did say I was going to do it, so I should kind of stick to my word and do it. So I figured I'll do a quick build on it, see what it's like. And actually, I'm quite impressed. I'm quite impressed. But at least now it can go to a new home. So the air filter on the front, yeah, that doesn't do basically anything as far as restrictiveness. Although I might give it a little test if we feel in the mood a little bit later. Might do some Cinebench or Prime 95 and try and heat it up a bit. Take the front off. What am I doing? Hello, McFly.
I don't think you put it in at the bottom. It looks all bowed.
It's all bad. Right, 1, 2. Right, I'm gonna get on the right angle. So I'm making a right kibosh of this.
Half the tree there.
Is that actually, that's in. That worked. Who dat?
Half the trees here.
Don't think I need that in there anymore because it's rebooted. But did it reboot because I hit it, or did it reboot because it was done? We'll find out now because it'll turn around and go, That's quite a quick install though. Hello, half the tree. Is this case a custom order or a regional case? Oh, I see. Yeah, I see what you mean now. It is available on eBay via the KZ UK, but that is pretty much it. So do excuse me momentarily because I am a victim of causality, and by that I mean I drink, and therefore I need to piss.
And your kidneys work.
Yeah, just testing my kidneys. Back in a moment. Those fans look much nicer from over there than what I did over there. That does look nice actually, doesn't it?
Do you need another now?
It's actually weird when, sorry, headphone users, because I'm just putting the microphone back on. Stick it up your jumper. There we go. Oh, that was a good timing. What region is it? I don't know. Where are we? We're in the United Kingdom. Yes. Skip.
Give you a treat.
We have some important setting up to do. I don't believe you. I think you're lying.
Flame is coming up for a split second.
I really should pack all this away. Go on, Flame. There he is. He's having some chow. Oh. Set up for personal use and click next. Let's add a Microsoft account. Let's not. Let's do an offline account. I feel much more comfortable with that. And I do want a limited experience.
All gone.
Next. Who's going to use this PC? Well, it's the normal user. Does everybody put that? Just call it user. And memorable password being enter. I'll have a hard job forgetting that. We want Mike for a striptease on the floor. Wow, you really, really need to get out there. Taylor says, at Mike's Unboxing, is that V-Color RAM? Certainly is. We always use V-Color wherever possible.
Case is only 39 quid on eBay delivered.
Case is, yeah, the case is 39 on eBay delivered. I think they've got stock at the moment now.
Have they not?
I looked earlier and it's showing 39.99, but then in the options, you've got an option for with or without fans. And I didn't see, I thought both of those were greyed out. I could be wrong. No. No, no. You may have noticed that the screen resolution has changed, and that is because basically the drivers have installed. In the background, hi. We're getting everything ready for you.
His fur looks terrible since you trimmed him.
I never trimmed him.
You did when he had that stuff stuck in his fur.
Oh yeah, sorry, that was me. Chunky weenie. Stuart says, oh yes, it's sold out. Yeah. Ugly Bob says, that is a really nice case. It is. It is a great little case. It genuinely is. The only thing I would say that goes against it is it does lack a little bit of depth on the back for cable management. I would have liked to have seen a little more. But it's certainly better than some of the others at similar prices. If you were to say to me, Mike, what would you prefer, this case or the CIT Flash, which comes with it comes with all the fans and stuff, I would have taken this every single time. This is a far, far superior case in terms of build quality, flexibility. Obviously, it is ATX, so there is that to it as well. But you can easily, easily get a radiator up in there. Very, very easily indeed. It is actually a really nice case. If it wasn't for the fact I had the TechWare VXR up there, I probably would keep this and do something with it for myself. But there's only so many PCs you can have at one time. So Windows is installed, we're up and running. Welcome to the new Microsoft Edge. Complete setup. Don't want to sign in. Yada yada yada. Microsoft Edge. Yeah. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Etc.
Stuart's next case will have a hinge door like that.
The hinge door setup is great. Sorry, Flame. Is so much easier. That is one thing I do dislike about that, is the fact that it hasn't got a hinge on it. I suppose it'd be difficult to do on there. But yeah, it's really nice whenever you want to make any quick, simple, easy changes or just dust it or whatever. It's so nice just to be able to open that and not work. I'm not too sure about the big handle. That is a little bit, don't know. The magnets are bloody strong now. Right, let's get some AMD drivers on the go. Now I'm gonna. Oh, why am I talking? I'm doing it again. I'm typing on the wrong keyboard. Absolute moron.
Overkill wants the Windows 98 PC for retro gaming.
I want to do that. I really. If it wasn't for how much space it takes up, I'd love to have a little Windows 95 or 98 retro machine for gaming. I really, really would. I did start looking into using my Synology NAS or the Asus Store NAS for running a virtual machine on there. I hate virtual machines, I've got to be honest. It is a bit of a pain in the backside. Right, drivers and support. I'm pretty sure I can do auto detect now.
Do the magnets mess with your Q-Link?
Not that I'm aware of. Oh, I downloaded that twice. That's a rookie.
Maybe it does then.
Yeah, it could. It might do actually. Let's have some Radeon software. I'm not sure if the Radeon software installs the GPIO drivers and that now. Somebody did say in the last stream when I did this that I should have done it this way. So I'm going to see what it actually picks up. Because it has been a long time since I used the auto detect. I don't think I've used that in, well, many years. So hopefully it's got a little bit better.
Make sure to install Steam and test out some games.
Make sure to install Steam and test out some games. I don't know if I would be able to. Because installing Steam and games would take a long time. Right, so what have I got here? So, factory reset recommended. Adrenaline. Okay, let's go with that. Good. And it also, Ryzen power plan, GPIO driver, SM bus driver, GPIO driver, and PSP driver. Awesome. We'll have some of that. Happy days. So whoever it was who said before to use auto detect, they were absolutely right, and I was completely wrong.
You've got a tech channel.
Yeah, if I had a tech channel, it'd be embarrassing, wouldn't it?
Amazing.
Lovely jubbly. I really should think about getting some food.
Well, you can have a treat as well.
I would like a retro PC. There's Maisie, everybody. This is taking his sweet ass time. Oh dear, what a lot of stuff.
Oh, she's lost her bottom fang. Can't grip it, can you?
Come on, Mabes. She's blind as a bat.
She ain't blind, she's got no fang at the bottom to hold it in her mouth. She's a light pin on camera.
Oh, she ain't got many teeth left now because she's old.
She smashed one off.
Smash.
No, Flame, you're not eating mazes. That's mazes.
Crappy Barris on computer says, I love the look of those case fans. The build looks great. Thank you very much. Gosh, this is taking... Is this like doing other things as... Oh, there we go. Installing. Far Cry 6 advert. Who is excited for Far Cry 6? I am so excited for Far Cry 6. I know it's going to be so much better than the Cyberpunk 2077 release. Far Cry 6 is going to be an absolute masterpiece, I can tell. Hello, Putty Cats. Should sit up straight.
I can have a scrap.
They're going to fight. You two don't fight. Fighting's bad.
Flame's face.
They are just going to...
She is his mum.
She's going to smack him. Oi! Pack it in, you two.
You've had enough now, mates.
Typical. Oh, restart. Come on. This is very, very quiet. There's a little bit of pump noise, if I'm completely honest, but it is very minimal. And the back panel's off at the moment, so you would expect that to some extent. But overall, I think I'm really pleased. It looks nice. I don't think for £40 there's much else out there on the market which looks as nice as that. It's a really good design. Plenty of room. Well, I think actually the fans, the RGB on the fans has actually worked out okay. Can't really see that side. Those are a bit more blended, aren't they? But are they hitting the same point at the same time? Impossible to tell in Rainbow Puke mode. That is the beauty of Rainbow Puke. It covers up absolute plethora of sins. What's the matter?
Capybaras on computers.
Oh yeah.
Likes these case fans.
Yeah, the case fans are awesome. Digital Demonic Davros says, when will that game actually come out? I don't know. Cosmic Space Muffin says, Cyberpunk 2077 is kind of a sit show. I really regret getting that game. I paid $4 for it.
Not even for the wang.
And it was interesting, it was enjoyable to experience it, to see what it was all about. But after I'd done the game through, that was kind of it. It's over. And I know you can play it in 3 different characters, but I can't see it being any different at all. It's basically you go through exactly the same process from what I can tell. I really couldn't be arsed with it. So that's almost done, so I've got to do another restart.
CP
So yeah, not good.
E77 is kind of a sit show.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. Ugly Bob says, have you done a review of the Aerocool Astro 12 Pro fans yet, Mike? No. I got a feeling they might be sending us some of those. I think. Aerocool have said they're going to send us some stuff to review, so looking forward to it. Ugly Pop says, I uninstalled CP 2077 to install Battlefield 5 today. Yeah. Chris, so Hanlon says, is this live? It certainly is. At least I hope so, yeah. Blake says, surely if you'd have live streamed straight review a session, it becomes a tax deductible costing. Yeah, kind of, it does work in that sort of way. In theory, I could buy, say, Battlefield 5, because on offer today for about £9, I think, somewhere. So I could, in theory, I could buy that, do a video on it, and because I've bought Battlefield 5 in order to make that video, in theory, it is a business expense and tax deductible. So basically, you don't get it for nothing. You still get, you pay tax on it somewhere or other, but you take off the value of the game off of your overall profit at the end of the year. So you basically, it's come out your profits. So you're getting a game and you would have normally paid probably about 30% tax on your profits. So the game is then costing you maybe £7 or £6 instead of £10. So it kind of, it's not like you get it for free. And if it was a component, so say for instance I bought this case, £40, that would be a tax deductible, so that comes off my profit at the end of the year. If I then sell the case, even if I sell it at a loss, which generally you will do because you're going to sell things used less than what they cost, plus the postage, you can claim the postage because that is an out and out business expense, but still you're only paying less tax on your profit. So if this cost me £20 to ship, then that's £20 I got to pay, but it's £20 I wouldn't pay tax on. So that would be again 30%. So like, what's that, £4? No, I don't know, maybe about £6.
£5 in that.
So rather than it costing me personally £20 for posting, it would cost me maybe £15 at the end of the day, which yeah, it's not brilliant, you're not getting it for nothing, but you're basically, it allows you to do things as a tax deductible and it not cost you an absolute fortune. But it's not as cool as everyone thinks. Texway J's in the house, he says, evening all, sorry I'm late, got distracted playing Fall Guys earlier. No worries, glad you can make it. Don't forget to smash the like button. Sunny Side Up says, I want to build in the KZ21, but out of stock at the moment. Yeah, it is. You're very, very right. Well, let's have a quick Cinebench run just to make sure that everything is as it should be. Cinebench. I always install the Windows Store version. Not really any real reason for it. I just find it a bit easy to do. No, don't want to count. Just install. God damn it. Now, there's obviously going to be other things going on in the background, so I'm not going to be overly exceptionally accurate on this one. And no doubt there's going to be some Windows updates. It says no updates available, but clearly that's lying because it's Windows. Let's have a quick launch on there. Now, I've got to be honest with you, I've got no idea and no preconceptions of what this actually should perform like. I've never owned a 3400G. Never used one, never owned one. I haven't seen that many reviews on it, to be honest with you, to see what it actually is like. So let's do. Wish I could see what was going on. No, don't want. Oh, I'm in the wrong thing. Preferences. Custom is 5. Advanced benchmark. Minimum test off.
Check the RAM speed just in case.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's
And Sunny Side Up said, couldn't be here for the build, but how was it? Any problems or pretty easy?
Yeah, no, it's pretty. Oh, damn it! Typed in the wrong keyboard again. It was pretty straightforward. The only thing which really made it difficult is the radiator, which was a bit of a nightmare to work out the kind of the whys and wherefores. If you're doing it for yourself, no doubt you'd kind of think a lot of these things out in advance. Cable management was easy, even with this absolute lunatic wiring going on in the back.
Very, very simple to do. No problems there. Let's have CPU D. No, don't want that. Actually, what's that? Have you got to do that now? Close. No. Why is it everything's got pop-ups and bloody ads on it now? I know it's free, but damn it. I'd rather you had to pay for it than all this pop-up junk. Right, so there is GPU Z. The CPU Z rather. Analyzing.
Amazing.
So you guys can't really see that, but it's AMD Ryzen 5 Pro mobile, 3400G, and core speed currently is about 1400 megahertz. Memory is the one we want, that's the more important one. And I don't think it's actually running SPD. No, it is running at 1332, which is 2666. So the RAM didn't take to the XMP. So it didn't like the XMP at all. So we do need to address that at some point. Let's have a quick. Is that multi-core? I can't see. Soon find out. No, that's a single core. Stop. Carry on. That's better. That's a much better amount of cores. Get the RAM out and flush. Get the RAM out and flash its BIOS. I think it's got the latest BIOS on there. Actually, I'm pretty sure it has got the latest BIOS on there. It's because it's a B450 chipset. Quite often, 3600 RAM is pushing it. 3466 is okay-ish. The processor itself is going to come into play. If it was a 3600 processor with 3600 RAM on there, I think it'd have a far easier chance of it. This is only a Zen Plus kind of architecture, so the RAM really kind of sweet spot is around about 3200, which I don't think I've got an option to run it at, so probably not the best choice of RAM. Mike's got a beer hidden. I don't. Behind the PC keeps on chugging. Yeah, sorry.
Do you want a beer?
No.
I'm just making another tea.
Can't have beer. I'm on a bit of a diet. I'm not really, but should be.
I was going to say you should be. I'm joking.
I thought I'd say it before Kath did.
Download more RAM, Mike.
I should download more RAM. I should download slower RAM. That's what I really need to do. If only I had my Corsair LPX 3000 stuff at the moment, that would be handy. Oh, shucks. It's not here. That would be good to have some of that. Oh dear.
Bromsky's not.
Bromsky says, looks stunning, just not digging those case fans and the PSU.
See, I like the case fans.
Yeah, PSU wise, that is, yeah, it does look a bit weird in there as well, which doesn't help. Case fans, I actually, those Sharkoon case fans, I like them. I think they are definitely very, very different. I'm almost of the mind to put them in there and take out the up here ones and replace them. I am quite tempted to do that, but then because they're flat rather than being outright or outward, I think they look much better on the kind of the vertical plane than they do the horizontal. Logitech says you should put Christmas lights on it to fix it. Yeah, that might help. For video editing, what do you recommend, the 3400G or the i5 10400 onboard graphics? That's a really difficult one because the i5 10400 is going to support QuickSync hardware, so that is going to run particularly well. I would probably go with the 10400, to be honest with you. The 3400G is going to be useful, but
I don't know whether you'd get more benefit from QuickSync than you would from Vega 11 in Premiere, if that's what you're using. You didn't say what you're using, so I'm not sure. Sunny Side Ups put a £2 super chat in and says, leave those Case fans alone. I gotta be honest, I do like them. I really do like the look of them. They are very nice. We are liking very much.
Disco light looks quite cool tonight.
Yeah, the disco light's gone a bit weird again.
I quite like that.
Boo, 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 boo. It goes with our theme tune. Cosmic Space Muffin says the fans look like they are stolen from the movie Tron. It looks good, and that is coming from me. Damn it, Mike, you have broken me. Yeah, Cosmic Space Muffin does not like RGB. Adam says, use Sony Vegas, might move to Premiere. If you're using Sony Vegas, I've got to be honest, I've never used Sony Vegas. I don't know how well it works with various hardware, if I'm completely honest with you. Dutch Jan says, is there a difference between the lights and the blades in yield? I'm not too sure what you mean by yield. Is in front. Between the lights and the blades. I honestly don't know. I think the blades. Do you mean the difference between the sharp lights and the sharp blades? I'm pretty sure the sharp blades have got more airflow.
They're not square looking either.
The shark lights are a lower RPM. I think I'm pretty sure they max out at like 1100 or something, or yeah, 1000 RPM plus or minus 10%. So yeah, 1100 tops. And but then the maximum airflow is 56 meters squared per hour. So that, I'm trying to think how they normally measure it, because that sounds actually quite good. Anyway, they are what they are. And what score do we get? Something pretty horrendous, no doubt. So 4,970, which beats an iCore 7 1165G7, and beats, well, it's just about 1,000 points less than an i7 7700K, which is was Intel's flagship almost. So yeah, not too bad. Okay, I think obviously because the RAM isn't doing what it's meant to, I'll give it a quick try and see if we can get in the BIOS and actually get it to do something sensible with the RAM. If we can, it's going to be something I have to work on before we start doing any game testing, because having the RAM as slowly clocked as it is isn't going to make things particularly, oh well, it's not really going to give you a valid result as such. So let's go into advanced, and we'll go into OC. So I'm thinking if we choose the XMP, I could try profile 1. And frequency, if I set that manually to, let's try 3466 and try that. Fingers crossed. That might work. Just reducing the frequency a little bit sometimes will be the difference between it posting and not posting.
We never did the add up, actually.
Oh yeah, we haven't done the add up. Let's do the add up then. So Kath, get your calculating hands ready. So case is £40. The motherboard, I actually paid 60 for, but generally you'd pay probably $79.99. So let's go for retail pricing. I think that's safest bet, isn't it?
Yeah,
so yeah, £80 for the motherboard. The case fans, I think they said, is it £11 each?
Yeah.
So £11 each, so that's 33, because we had 3 of those. Yeah. And the PC didn't boot. No surprises there. The Gamemax Fan Hub controller, that was £16, I think. I'm pretty sure that was £16. The SSD was 35. The RAM, I think it was weird because it went from one price from American, so let's be on the safe side and say 80. The processor technically cost me 130. PC rule in theory sell them for 130, so for argument's sake we'll say 130 because that's a really difficult one to kind of work out how much because they're limited supply. The power supply is £27, and the XPG cooler is, I think it was 85. I could be wrong. I think it's 85. So let's say 85. And I think that is it. Yeah, that is it. I'm pretty sure.
Hard drive.
I've taken the hard drive out because I've not connected it, so leave that out of the loop. How much is that?
£526.
£526. So just over the £500 mark, which isn't, it's not cheap, but I don't think it's particularly awful. I don't think the RAM has stayed at its frequency, so let's have a look. 3466 we're looking at, hopefully. Memory is, no. DRAM frequency is currently 9333 megahertz, asynchronous. So no, it's not like that at all. So let's try one more stab, and then I think it's going to be giving up time. Kath Vorderman.
Oh, can you say thanks to Sunny Side Up for the super chat?
Oh yeah, thanks to Sunny Side Up for the super chat, Kath says.
I was making tea and I missed saying it and it seems a bit far away.
Willie Bob says, oh, I'm late, didn't realise it was today. It's any day. Now I wonder if it's because I've put the... Alright, let's do XMP1, OC. And let's try DDR... Let's try 3200. It should do 3200 pretty easy. So let's try some memory combinations.
3200 CL16.
3200 CL16. Alright, let's do that. Exit and save. That's a nice thing about MSI boards. They do have the options in the memory, so you can change things around a little bit easier than on some other boards. Tony says, go balls to the wall and go for 6,000. Well, that's booted up quicker. Much quicker. So it likes DDR, it likes CL16 3200. This we know.
Thanks to Cosmic Space.
Thanks to Cosmic Space Junkie. Monkey.
Muffin.
Muffin.
Cookie.
Good old Cookie Muffin over there. So DRAM frequency 1600, yes. Happy days. Stuart Clarius goes €10 and says salubrious. I don't know what that means, but thank you. I think. SPD. Yeah, that's much better. Right, let's drop my microphone.
Oh, I thought that was me.
Mic drop. Where is the thing? You know, the thing. Silly bench. See if it makes a difference. I don't think it's going to make a difference, but whatever.
I'm going to Google what that means.
Hopefully it's a good thing. Oh, actually, that's going to be doing the long one. Let's not do the long one.
Health giving, healthy.
Oh, good.
Pleasant, not run down.
Right, let's do... Oh, why did it not save the advanced settings, you stupid machine? Advanced benchmark. There we go. Let's start. Right, let's see how that goes now. Thank you, Stuart. Okay, so it says, whoa, I just realised how long this stream is. Oh no, this is what, 3 hours or something crazy?
I'm glad I did the tea before we started, man.
Yeah, I'm glad you did that. Aletta says, I'm sure that RAM would do 3466, but it would take some time to tweak. Yeah, I think you're pretty much bang on there. So what did we score last time? 4,900 and something? Just a shade under 5,000. So in theory now we should score, I would hope, probably 5,002. I should look up actually to see what the Cinebench R23 score is for the 3400G. Oh, it's not as if I've got a computer behind me. Oh, what did I just opened up Edge. Horrible person. 3400G. CB23 score. Let's have a look in CPU Monkey. Don't know if they've done Cinebench R23 because it's a bit older.
Is that why you think Cosmic Ace Muffin Monkey?
Yeah.
CPU.
CPU's AMD. Ryzen 5 graphics. Are we Renoir? CPU frequencies. 3400. Right, there we go. Does it give it there? Don't know if it will. Cinebench R23 single score. Oh, 4810 it should get. So actually, even with the slower RAM, it's doing all right. And it gets, yeah, 4,810 is what it should get, which is basically exactly the same as the Ryzen 5 Pro 2400G at a slower clock speed. Okay, so what do we get this time? This time we got 5,066. So we're actually well above what it should do, which makes it faster than an Intel Core i7 4790K, which actually is pretty decent. I'm quite pleased with that. Not too bad, and it doesn't get overly hot, or at least from what I can tell, because we haven't installed hardware monitoring yet. Let's get hardware monitor. I said there is still stuff going on in the background. Windows updates are definitely happening in the background.
If you get it to CL14, it'll be faster still.
Yeah, I might play around with the RAM timings. Depends. It's a strong possibility that I'll actually change the motherboard. Because as much as it's okay, I think the 3400G really should be in a smaller setup. So temperature-wise, 29 degrees. It's the lowest recorded at the moment, but it's only just opened up. That's not too bad. 29 degrees, I'm going to live with that. Yeah, it looks like the core is jumping around all over the place, so it is doing some updates. Let's run a quick. Let's do another Cinebench run and see how quickly it gets up. So it just hit 60 briefly, then it's dropped back down to 56. We've got all cores at the moment currently at just a shade under 4 gigahertz. So 3973. Doesn't appear to be throttling in any way, and holding pretty steady at 56 degrees under load, which is all right. Not making a massive noise about it either. In fact, it sounds exactly the same, and probably is not helping that I've got the top blocked off by all those boxes.
That's better. It's got a bit of heat coming out there. That side panel is obviously closed, but the back is off, so it is a little bit off. And yeah, still same sort of temperatures. So yeah, 56, 57, slightly climbing, but pretty much silent in doing it. Alexa says I just got 12,472 on Cinebench R23 while the stream is on. Lol. That's pretty good. Almost 3 times faster than this one. So we did have a little bit of throttling then. The CPU did drop down to just over 3.9. I wonder if that's going to make any difference at all having the front off. You can see it's been pulled in a little bit. It's not going to have an immediate impact, I wouldn't have thought. Because of the... That is the trouble when you're testing water coolers, because the thermal mass takes ages to kind of get to where it needs to get, either the high spot or low spot. It's really difficult to make any real proper call to see if it's making any difference. It actually feels cold to the touch. So the heat isn't getting from the processor quick enough. Or at least that's the bottom, so it should be hotter on one side than the other, the incoming side. So that's the incoming side, that's the outgoing side. So you can actually feel the difference. If I spin it around so you can see it a little bit. So this side is a little bit warmer than that side because that is the incoming side. It's the warm or hot air, hot water rather, is coming in this side, or hotter. And then it goes all around the vanes and then back out through that side.
Have you got the front panel as your intake, or have you just answered that?
Yeah, the front panel is as the intake, so you can just about make out the RGB fans there if I twist it around a bit, so you can see those behind the radiator. And yeah, actually there's Windows updates going on again, which do seem to be having a knock-on effect. Why do Windows updates give so much overhead on computers? It just seems daft that they use up so much power. Anyway, I think that is going to pretty much wrap this one up. It's been almost 3 hours now, so I really do need to install some stuff on here and have some food and all that kind of stuff. Food, more importantly. Be interested to do some more tests on this, see how it goes. So,
Sunny side up said, would it be worth going triple fan? They really like this case.
I think, to be honest with you, if I was doing it to keep for myself, I would probably go with 6 fans. So 3 on the front, 2 on the top, 1 on the rear. And have the 3 fans on the front slightly faster than the top 2 in the back, just to give it a little bit more positive pressure. But yeah, 3 fans on the front would be very easy to do. Whether or not it'd give you much extra cooling, possibly not, depends on the setup. But certainly there's enough room for it there, and the filter is full length, so there's no real reason why you shouldn't do it.
Just don't panic. Is there enough room up front for a push-pull config?
Yeah, there's plenty of room, because with the 240 it's not really impacting anything. So you could put, well, you wouldn't want to put any fans in front of there unless you're removing this entirely, and you'd have issues with mounting on there, possibly. But yeah, there's loads of depth there before you come anywhere near the cables coming through. Let's turn it around slightly. So where the cables come through there, you've got that much depth there. So yeah, you could easily get that out there, put a push pull in there. Yeah, I think that would work. Right, anyway, I think that is going to be wrapping this one up. Thank you all for bearing with us for the last 3 hours. Kath's doing something.
Ugly Bob says, do a follow-up video on it where you do a proper Cinebench run, some synthetic tests and a few games.
Sounds like a plan. Bob, I will do that. So there will be a follow-up video. So we've done the build in the case. That was what I primarily wanted to get done, to do the build, make sure the case was okay, see what it was like. And I I think actually from my initial review where I said it looked like a great case and would be easy to build in, yeah, I think my initial instincts were absolutely correct. And if anything, actually, it's probably endeared me slightly more towards it than it had previously. Like I said, again, if I didn't have the VXR behind me, then I think this would probably end up on the shelf behind me.
I think maybe Bob wants some graphs.
Bob wants graphs as well. Okay, no worries. Right, thank you all for bearing with us as long as we have done. Hopefully you've been moderately entertained and learned something about the case itself. I certainly have through the experience of building it. Overall, yeah, it's great. Hopefully they get some more in stock and you can get them from KZ UK, who are the kind of the main importers of these cases as things stand. So if you want to get one, there'll be some links in the video description if you're watching this as the video on demand. If you're watching the live stream, obviously you've probably seen those things already, so yeah, no worries there. Thanks all for the super chats. Don't forget to leave a like on the video on your way out. That would be fantastic. And that leaves me with only one thing to say. I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next stream. Thanks for watching. Bye.